My wife didn't come home last night. Now my worst fears are confirmed.
Oh, my.
My wife didn't come home last night. She went out with a couple of girlfriends, which is pretty normal for her. She's normally back around 2 a.m. on these nights, so I waited up. By the way, this comes from Throw Off My Chest 234 on the r/okay story time. Sorry about that.
Throw off my chest.
Throw it off. So around 2:30, I called to check in. She answered, and I could hear people in the background. She told me they went to a party, but were leaving in a couple of minutes. She wasn't home by 3, so I texted. It delivered, but no reply.
Intriguing.
Around 4 a.m., I called a couple of times before she sent me to voicemail. My wife finally came stumbling through the door at 6:47 a.m. this morning. I know the exact time because I was worried. She was wearing a dress.
I know the exact time because I was worried.
If your wife came home at 6:47, you'd kind of be like, what's up? And has been ghosted all night.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey, it's the morning.
So what's good? She was wearing a dress that she didn't leave the house in with mesh leggings I've never seen either. The leggings had clearly been torn and her makeup was smudged. My heart sank when I saw her. My immediate worry was that she had been attacked. She had only shook her head no when I asked her that. I asked her what she had been doing then. She only said that I knew what she had been doing, and that kind of confirmed what the voice in the back of my head had been screaming since she walked in. My wife cheated on me last night.
Ooh.
I asked her who it was. She shrugged almost casually and said it was somebody they met at the club. So she's just like,
she doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
In the club, we're all fam.
She said, what?
I'm up in the club.
In the club, we're all fam.
Up in the club.
In the club, we're all family.
She went back to his house, hooked up with him, and then Ubered home. She then said she didn't want to fight and just wanted to sleep.
Damn.
So that's what she did.
Wow. Girl gives no F's whatsoever.
She gets everything she wants. She's still asleep now and didn't even take a shower before passing out. Suffice to say, our relationship is over. We don't have any kids and we rent, so it shouldn't be an extremely complicated process.
That's good.
I'm trying to reason myself out of it, pretending there might be something to salvage here. I've always maintained that cheating would be a red line for me, though. I think I need to stick to that now.
Oh, yeah, buddy. You 100% you need to stick to that. What?
Well, we got some other relevant comments from XJV413, who says, you keep trying to reason yourself out of it because this just happened and you're still in shock. The feeling of betrayal is still going to be there when the shock fades, so don't let yourself humor her now. Also, just to be 100% safe, I'd recommend a STI screening. This might not be the first time she's done something of this nature.
Ooh, oh, dang. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess honestly, if that's how she reacted when she walked in, she just goes, you already know what it is. It's like, yeah, she might have been doing that for a minute.
Who cares? I don't care about you.
Damn.
I don't care about this. But I'm going to sleep. I don't care. Opie says, I really don't think she's done this multiple times. Are you sure about that?
Are you sure about that?
If she had, she'd likely have come home and told me right away anyways. She's always been the type of person who can't keep things bottled up inside. Apparently not. I will get tested, though. It can't hurt, though I'm a little scared of needles. And there is an update. Me again, folks. Sorry I didn't get around to doing this sooner. I wasn't able to get a day off work yesterday because my boss kind of sucked. I was a complete mess at work yesterday, though, so I was allowed to take the rest of the week as a vacation, thankfully. They're like, yeah, bro.
Wait, but your boss doesn't then. Your boss gave you a whole week off.
Actually, yeah, that's pretty good.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I feel like he came in and he was like, hey, what's up? He's like, yeah, my wife just came in at like 7 a.m. Just like, yeah, I just cheated on you, but I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to sleep. And he's probably like, take some time.
He's like, yeah, so I'm going to need those reports actually double time now. I'm actually going to need you to work twice as fast.
Let's hunker down. I think I went through all of the stages of grief while my soon-to-be ex was sleeping. Wow. I wasn't expecting my post to get any attention at all. I just figured I needed to try to talk to someone about it because not in a good headspace. I made the post in the morning, and by noon, she was still conked out in the bedroom. I had processed things a bit more, and I had a rough plan in my head that I was starting to set in motion. I made a short list of questions I wanted answers to, gathered up all my important documents, laptop, etc. Then I went into the bedroom and started packing myself a suitcase. I know a lot of folks wanted me to kick her out. I did consider it, but honestly, I'm not overly attached to this place. We just rent, and I'm in a lucky enough situation to be able to say that paying half the rent for a few months isn't going to financially end me.
That's good.
It'll sting a little bit. I won't lie, but I'll make it, and I feel like being around this place is only going to remind me of her anyways. So I need to be looking forward and not back. She ended up walking about halfway through me packing up my suitcase. There was a momentary confusion as she looked around the room, and then she just started bawling. What do you expect?
I don't know. Okay, like, okay, we're going to get to the bottom of this soon.
We will.
For sure.
Or maybe it was.
I'm just worried like something did happen to her and she doesn't know or something. Or like, what's going I don't know what's about to happen.
Totally could be. Totally
But
could
just
be.
looking around in confusion and then crying like does not sound good to me.
Yep.
But,
Totally could be.
Well, let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong and she's just a terrible person.
We shall see. We hope that she's terrible. I told her I had the screenshots of her Uber and text messages from her phone, and that plus her confirmation was enough that things between us were completely done. She didn't answer me and just cried louder. I debated trying to continue the conversation, but I decided to just pack the rest of my suitcase and head back out to the living room until she came out. When she finally left the bedroom, she sat next to me on the couch and asked if we could talk things through. I told her as calmly as possible that wasn't how things were going to work. I was going to ask questions. I wanted honest answers. She told me she'd be honest, so I proceeded. My voice was shaking the entire time. It was taking me everything to hold it together, but I kept going. Was this the first time she had cheated? She started crying before she answered that. She told me no.
Oh!
Not the first time.
She's just trash. Hey, everybody, pack it up. She's just trash.
Yeah.
Woo!
But bro, this is maybe the most honest cheater we have seen in the history of this show, because my God, she's just like coming out with it.
Well, how wasted must she have been to just walk through the front door and be like, you already know what it is. I've been doing it forever. Look at me.
Look at me.
Does this look like your girlfriend or someone else's? Hey, I'm going to bed.
She had cheated on me multiple times over the course of our relationship. It was, and I'm going to use her words exactly here, just hooking up a way for me to let off some steam. None of it ever meant anything.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. You don't get to decide that.
Ooh, true. I wrote a comment shortly after making my post that all the love couldn't just fade away in one swoop. Well, it can. It hit me right then, and that I wasn't dealing with my wife. The person I was married to literally wasn't in the room. This was someone different. She refused to tell me exactly how many times she had cheated, just more than last night.
Yikes, dude, that makes it sound like she doesn't even know. She's like, between 10 and 15? I don't know.
The next question was, has she used protection? She responded, no. Hesitation from her.
Who is this demon?
Oh.
Before she nodded her head emphatically.
You little cheeky guy over here. She said, no hesitation, and then shook her head. No, we use protection.
I did use protection.
But did we believe her? I'm sure she's been lying this entire time.
She could be. I mean, honestly, she has been seemingly pretty forthright.
Because she got caught.
Yeah,
gotta-
but like she didn't even.
You got to
she
get the
didn't even-
test, bro.
she
You
didn't
can't
even
trust
try.
her.
Oh yeah, still
Can't trust her.
1,000% get the test.
Can't trust her.
No, like even before all of this, get the test for sure. But
There's no
anyways.
idea.
So no hesitation from her before she nodded her head emphatically that she did use protection. She seemed surprised I'd even asked that. I'm still going to get tested just to be safe. I did some research into timing, and I'm going to look after it. Were her friends also cheating on their spouses? Yes and
Ooh,
no.
That's actually a really good. I wouldn't have even thought about that. That's a good question.
Yeah, because they have their little circle and they're
Yeah,
like, they'll
that's a-
protect each
hey,
other.
That's a
Hey.
good question. I would want to know if I was being cheated on. I am not The Weeknd.
Right.
I would like to know if you're playing me. Do not keep it on the low. Let me know.
I hear you. I tried to get her to tell me which of her friends were cheating so I could get in contact with their spouses. She probably should have, because her refusal led me to messaging pretty much the romantic partner of every one of her girlfriends I could find on social media. There are a couple I don't know or couldn't find, but I did my part. Why did she do it? This was the answer that gutted me the most. I'm going to use her exact words again. I need to have more spicy sleep variety.
What is that?
It means
It just means you want to sleep with other people.
it means variety.
But it's like you can get that without sleeping
No, she needs variety. I told her that it's not like our spicy sleep life is dull. She clarified, it's not the same as something new. That's not variety.
That's but I disagree.
Apparently-
you don't have to. You don't need a new person to do new things within the context of the spice.
She says I must sleep with other people. I must. That's what she
Then
says.
just say that.
Well,
Just
I mean-
say it.
I mean, she did. Oh, she said variety.
Yeah, she's trying to be like, well, no, it's not that. It's just say it. That's
It's
what it is.
It's romantically entangled. It's the equivalent. It's the equivalent. It's the
He's in
equivalent.
an entanglement.
Ooh. I didn't even have a response to that one. I had expected something about me working too much or not supporting her emotionally. Nope. She just effed other guys because she felt like it and wanted to have some fun. Girls just want to have fun, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, ah.
When I didn't respond, she started asking me about counseling and therapy. I reiterated that our relationship was over. I'd be leaving. What she did next disgusted me. My ex actually tried to hook up with me. She put her hands on me and started taking off my clothes.
Ooh, girl, that's bad. That's a bad look.
Not the time. I felt like I wanted to vomit and pushed her away after a couple of seconds. She just kept trying to tell me that she would figure out a way to fix it, that we would work through it together. I told her that there was no way, and she started bawling again. She went to the bathroom and locked herself inside. I was sick of everything at that point. I called her mother and told her what was going on. The full story too, the cheating, the questions I had asked, and the fact that I was leaving. Wrong. I've always had a good relationship with my ex's parents. They both decided to drive to town, which is about an hour from them. Once I knew someone was on the way, I just grabbed my things and left. Her waterworks in the bathroom were just annoying me because it felt hollow to me, especially given the answers to my questions. I ended up packing another bag before I left. Just real quick, I feel like she's not crying for him or anything. I think she wanted the relationship life and the comfort of that, but also to be able to cheat and do whatever. She's like, I can't have my cake and eat it too.
Yeah, I think it's probably a lot coming down on her all at once, where it's just like, wow, I'm losing it all. Everything I thought I had literally a day ago is gone. Not living in the same place, not dating the same person. Now I can't cheat on my boyfriend because I don't have one.
Can't even cheat anymore. I ended up packing another bag before I left and took all the things that I could think of that felt sentimental or attached to with me. I found a parking lot.
That's a good idea.
True. Sat in my parking lot, and I was able to get in contact with a buddy for a place to crash. I tried to take a nap, but I was running on way too much adrenaline. I knew when her parents had made it to the apartment because she started calling me. When I didn't answer those, started texting me. She had gone from sad and crying to furious. Apparently, I'm an effing piece of for telling her mom everything. Whoops. I'm not sorry.
Like your mom wasn't going to find out.
Dude, be mad at yourself.
I don't understand. When people cheat, it's like, and then they feel like, what? Why did you tell people? It's
you
like,
ruined everything. Economic perfect.
My God, what is that? What is that? Oh, it's the consequences of your actions. That's what that is.
I've received roughly 100 texts from her since leaving. They range from name calling all the way to begging me to come back, to sending me pictures of food she ate for some reason.
That is the full spectrum of text messages.
IG eats first, yeah.
Angry, remorseful, and hungry.
Ooh. I haven't responded to any of them. I feel like I said my piece before leaving. By the way, if you ever want to say your piece, or more importantly, you see this thing right here, hear your piece. We have full episodes chock full of stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app, search OK Storytime. The full episodes are there. You are welcome. Go right now. But Dakota, what are we thinking here as we approach the end of the story? What?
You are better off. Don't look back. Move forward. Do not look back. You are better off without this person in your life. They are going to learn the hard way that, this is what happens when the consequences of your actions catch up with you. That's really all it is. She did at least it wasn't like a long, hard process to get the truth out. It came out pretty quick, and then now you can just move forward. Don't worry about her. She'll be fine.
Live your
So will
life,
you.
brother.
You'll both be fine.
Live your life.
Better off without her.
Let's finish this.
Yeah,
story.
let's finish it off.
Let's finish it.
We've got it. We've got it in the bag.
So that's where I'm at right now. We didn't have joint finances, so that part was easy. I canceled all the subscriptions that go to my credit card just to be sure and changed all my important passwords. I'm crashing on a friend's couch for the next bit, but I've got some feelers out to some short-term rental places. And until I can find something more permanent, I've got feelers out for a divorce attorney too. A coworker of mine had a recommendation, so barring something better, I'll probably go with them. I also wanted to say that I was shocked how supportive everyone was, and thank you for that. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, it isn't easy for me to talk about emotional things with people close to me. This was an invaluable venting place for me, so thank you all so much. And you're welcome, Opie.
Onwards and upwards, Excelsior.
Onwards and mother flipping upwards, ladies and gentlemen.
You'll be all right.
You'll be all right. You're moving on. You're doing exactly what you should be doing, brother.
My friend secretly moved in her sister at our house despite our disapproval.
She's living in our walls.
I, 32-year-old female, have a longtime friend, 25. Let's call her Emily. Emily is currently living in my family home. By the way, this comes from you, Icy Boysenberry 629 on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So now for some context. We have known Emily for almost 18 years, and her family lives near my grandparents' house. Emily's family are all deadbeats. Okay. Even some members are in the illegal business. They have this as a career. Due to this, Emily and her siblings went through many bad times because their mom is a real piece of work. This woman was only concerned about the man in her life, there were many, and left her children alone for months and then returned as if nothing had happened. Oh, wow. So not only did she like get distracted by a man, she like physically left.
Yeah.
You can say that they were raised by her grandmother and they were often left unattended. Before we met her and her family, we lived in another area like the countryside, about 30 minutes from my grandparents' home. Fast forward to when I entered college, we moved to the same neighborhood as my grandparents. And Emily, very close to my college, like you could walk to get there. We didn't sell our family home because my parents said it would be one of the things they left for us, so we took care of the maintenance of the house. But no one lived there permanently. We used it as a guest house sometimes and as a vacation too. That was a long side note.
Yes.
We then realized the gravity of Emily's situation. She became a very close friend with one of my younger sisters, 25 female Lizzie, and seeing that often they didn't even have anything to eat.
Whoa.
Damn. So like in a really tough family.
Yeah.
We started inviting her and her sister to our house. They eat with us almost every day. That's really kind and sweet.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a lot of family stuff going on, and
Yeah.
it seems like they're trying to help out Emily.
Yeah. And Emily is like the families kind of knew each other,
Yes.
but more friends with OP's sister,
yes.
who's more her age. My parents often said that we can't ignore when our family/friends need us, and if we have to help them, we sure have to do it. That's the kind of people they are. The only problem that I had with Emily in all these years was the fact that her family had her wrapped around their fingers, and she was always getting them out of trouble, even if that meant getting herself into trouble. Is that really a problem with Emily? It seems like she experienced a lot of trauma in her life.
Yeah.
And, you know, like any natural human being response to still want the approval of your family.
Yeah.
But then again, that was not my problem, and it was is her life.
Mm-hmm.
Now to the issue. Almost 2 years ago, Emily got married, and we were very happy for her. My sister was the maid of honor, and my family actively participated in the planning. My dad even officiated the wedding. That's sweet.
This is lovely. They're
Yeah.
very connected.
Yeah, the families are really sweet together. Or I guess family with Emily. Around that time, again, her family was in trouble and she went out of her way to help them. Even her fiance was against this. The result, she was left with no money, nothing. She even used the rent money, and now she didn't have anywhere to stay. So being her support system, my parents told her that she could stay in our family home.
So wait. So after the wedding, she used up all the money on the wedding, and now
No. Emily used the money to help her bail her family out of whatever trouble they were getting into again.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like taking in. I don't know why this story is tripping me up.
There's like a lot of...
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so Emily bailed out her family, and so now has moved into OP's family's place.
Yes.
Okay.
Because she has no more money to bail it out.
Got it.
Honestly, I was opposed to that because I know her. My dad told her that she didn't have to pay rent or even pay for the maintenance. The only condition was that she wasn't allowed to bring any member of her family. None. Which seems
Yeah.
like a reasonable
I think that's
condition.
very reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, she's shown that she's willing to like kind of give them whatever they need without regard of what she needs.
Even her siblings and she agree with this. Currently, she is pregnant with her first child, and 2 weeks ago, she went behind our back and spoke with my parents. Why I said this? Because I haven't mentioned that our family home is legally my sister's and mine. Our parents transferred the property to us, so we have been taking care of it since. Emily knew this, and she went to talk to my parents and asked them if they would allow her sister to stay at our house when she gave birth for 2 weeks to help her while her husband was given leave from work.
Okay. So I understand. The problem here is that they had an agreement that it was only going to be Emily, and now Emily's gone to the parents and been like, hey, my sister's got to move in too, even though technically this is supposed to be OP and her sister's place.
Yeah. However, it's OP and her sister's place, but the parents were the people in the first place who invited OP or invited Emily in.
Yes. I think it's pretty disrespectful of Emily when she's being very helped a lot to then kind of capitalize on that and like go behind their backs. I think that's pretty rude. Like if you're going to do it, at least have the, courage to actually ask the people who you're living with.
Yeah, I see that. So, and she went to talk to my parents to ask them if they would allow her sister to stay at our house when she gave birth for 2 weeks to help her while her husband was given leave from work. My parents agreed, again, without asking us.
So messed up with the parents.
Yeah, so the parents are like now like factors in being disrespectful, which I didn't think was okay, since even though it's the house they both bought, it's not legally ours and we should be included in any decision. Yeah.
Yes.
That checks out. Anyway, 2 days ago, we went shopping with Emily and she made this comment. My sister is asking me when we're going home because she's tired. To which I reply, home? How so? Emily says, yes, because my sister came to me as a surprise a few days ago, and she's been living with us, but last night she went out partying and didn't come home, to which my husband got angry because he doesn't want her to live with us.
They didn't know that she was. So the parents and Emily moved her sister into Opie and her sister's house and never told them? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's why.
That's crazy. It's one thing to be like, oh yeah, they're going to move in now. And another thing entirely to be like, they've been moved in
Yeah.
and you guys didn't know.
Yeah, there's someone that you are not aware of
In your house.
Wild.
Ooh.
You're like, I'm hearing things.
Emily,
Yeah,
Emily,
there's like,
girl,
who's in the-
Emily.
who's in the
Who's in the walls?
You're hearing voices in the wall. I'm going crazy.
I asked her, what's that about her living with you? We agreed that she was going to help you for 2 weeks after you gave birth. Not that she was going to live with you. I'm sorry, but she didn't learn anything from her situation growing up. And that's fine. That's her life, her problem. But I don't want her on my property. I'm sorry.
I love that Opie's like, I'm sorry, I understand that I don't want her here, but I understand that she's going through a lot, but I don't want her here. It's like constantly going back and forth, like trying to be, understanding. But
Really? It seems like the whole thing was angry.
Well, I think she's angry, but I think she's trying to show that she's understanding.
Oh,
That's my perspective of it.
I'm reading it in a different tone. But she kept quiet, finished shopping, and left. I mentioned this to Lizzie, the sister, and she was in shock because Emily had never spoken about this to her. It turns out when she asked my parents for permission, she already had plans for her sister to stay permanently with her at our house. She just knew that we would refuse, so she put her there in the hope that we would let it go later.
Oh, Caleb on comment says, again, Opie and her sister don't live there.
Oh.
So that actually does change a lot if we missed that part.
Wait, I missed that.
I missed that too. It does change the context of.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't change. Emily's still in the wrong, but it does make sense why they didn't
They
know.
didn't know. Yeah, I was like, how did you not know someone's in
Yeah.
your house? Okay, so OP is saying that Emily was plotting to get the okay for 2 weeks and then have her sister live there permanently. I wonder if this has been confirmed or if OP is just saying, I know what she's doing.
Well, it seems like we know for a fact that she went behind their backs. So
Yeah.
regardless of whether or not she was plotting, she did it.
No.
Yeah.
But do you see the difference?
Yeah.
There's the
The
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And OP is now making an accusation that Emily, under the context of moving her sister in for 2 weeks with the parents, she was actually wanting her sister to live there permanently.
Yeah. So even a further lie than
Yeah. And I'm
lying to the parents as well.
I'm questioning, is OP
that true?
assuming that? Was that confirmed?
Let's see if Opie confirms it.
Yeah. However, my sisters and I are not willing to do so. My parents, on the other hand, got mad at me because I was so rude when I responded to her and that I should have waited for a better time, but I told them that she was acting behind our back, so I reacted appropriately, but I don't know. Am I wrong?
No, that's your house. Regardless of whether or not you're living in it, your Crazy Cat says, as the legal owners, OP and her sister need to go to the town court and get the sister and Emily served an eviction. I think that first I think you can be like, hey, get out of the house. Like before we even go to the legal, just say, you gotta go. And then if they don't leave in a timely manner, then it's like, okay.
So you would say, for sure, you would be like, you went behind my back.
Yeah.
You're leaving.
I think because she's pregnant, my reaction would have been like, hey, I'll give you a week or two or something to sort out. But the sister's not living there. I'll give Emily 3 weeks.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Sister can't stay.
Yeah.
So Emily gets 3 weeks to figure out her situation. Then she's got to go. That's my final offer.
I think it's a little more nuanced and complicated. There's so much relationship.
It's true.
There's so much history.
I
Of
think she can
her
live with the
experiencing
parents.
all this crap. She did something wrong, but perhaps it was the first time she went behind your back.
It's a big
It's
the back.
It's a big one for sure. I don't know. I don't know if I would kick Emily out.
You'd give her 4 weeks.
I think I would give her a strike. I would be like, this is
Okay.
unacceptable.
But you kick the
Your sister
out.
needs to leave.
Okay. So sister's
like,
got to go
now,
either way.
And I'm very upset.
Yeah.
That's probably how it.
That's Alex, and I give 3 weeks.
Okay, update. First of all, I want to thank the people who took the time and read my post comment on it. It's been crazy lately, but I could finally write an update. A couple of things I would like to mention. I don't live with my parents. I have my own house and live with my older sister. I have 2 younger sisters that's still living with my parents. My older sister is engaged and she talked to us when she started dating her fiancé about the house and how she wanted to buy us out. And we agreed with this because she's the one that always wanted to live away from the city. So they're selling it to another sister?
I guess so.
Now to the update. We have a family meeting to discuss how to move forward regarding the house. My sister Lizzie, Emily's best friend, was disappointed by Emily's attitude, but not surprised because, as I said in my previous post, when it comes to her family, she totally changes. We've tried to tell her that it is not a healthy relationship. Even her husband had told her so, because she is always the one who ends up hurt without money, even with health problems. But she doesn't listen to us. It's like she's always expecting the best from them, but they always end up disappointing her, and she doesn't react. She is being taken advantage of by her family, but it makes so much sense that she allows it.
Yeah.
She's been trained her whole life to abandon her no and to self-abandon herself in order to save the family.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not judging her for that.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it seems like she's progressed to the point where she's also doing this to other people.
Yeah.
She's just she just does it, and she's like, I don't need permission.
For sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, when it involves like other people's scenarios of 100%, put down boundaries. This is unacceptable.
Mhm.
But still, as Alex, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm saying that makes sense based on her history.
I'm saying that she's taking what her family is doing and doing it to other people.
In what way?
And that like she's just kind of doing stuff without getting permission. Like she's like, oh, I don't even need your, like, I'm not gonna ask for permission. Like I'm not gonna ask for your yes or no. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah. So as a family, we decided to go to the property and talk to her and her husband about the situation. We also wanted to check if her sister is still living there.
Yeah. Get her out of there.
Yeah. As I mentioned above, my older sister is going to move there after she gets married. So we were going to tell them that they have until the end of the year to vacate the property.
Damn. When
what
was
month
this
is it?
posted?
Many in the comments advised me to take her out immediately. Sophia says
Take her
3
out.
weeks, though.
I give 3 weeks.
But you also have to understand that besides being our friend, her husband is also a good family member. He met Emily through us. Oh, I didn't know that. And we don't want to end this friendship, so we decided to give her another chance. Added to the fact that she is 7 months pregnant.
Fair.
And has no money.
And no money.
Of course, what she did is not excusable, but as I've mentioned multiple times, she totally changes when it comes to her family. With that said, we left for the property, and guess what? Her sister was still living there. In fact, when we arrived, I saw that she was eating a snack on a piece of furniture that my older sister had just bought for when she moved into the house. I have to clarify that Emily doesn't know that my older sister is moving into the house, nor that she is engaged. It was something recent that only we know, and she's planning to announce it next month at a family party. Anyway.
Get out. Get her out of there.
I told Emily that the furniture was going to stay in storage, but for some reason her sister felt she had the right to take it out. And that Emily didn't say anything to her. My sister and I were furious.
They suck. These people suck. They're squatters.
Disrespect to the furniture
Yeah.
is just adding
Taking it
fuel
out-
to the fire.
Unbelievable.
And we told her to get up from the furniture immediately, and if there was any damage, she would pay for it along with the cleaning. The furniture was stained with something like sauce or something.
No, I'm pissed. I'd be
And it's
pissed.
new. Furniture is expensive.
Yeah.
Her sister starts yelling at us. No way.
The audacity.
And saying a lot of things. I couldn't take it anymore, and I yelled, "Shut up! Shut up!" We came here to talk to your sister and her husband, not you. You have nothing to do with this equation. You mean nothing in this equation. You are not part of this equation.
Yeah.
So get off my property before I call the police.
Mhm.
Emily will gather your things and get them to you, but you're not getting anything out of here. I know I may have said some harsh things, but the audacity of some people brings out the worst in me.
No, I mean, like, she literally, you made no agreement with her. She's a random person.
Your anger makes sense.
Yeah.
Emily was shocked, to say the least, and said that even her sister was wrong. I shouldn't have spoken to her that
Too
way.
bad. Too freaking bad.
Oh. So, Emily's mad at OP.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
Which my dad replied, and what did you expect, Emily? You have abused our trust and our
Whoa.
generosity. We got Papa Bear getting
He
pricked.
said, I let you bring her in here.
Papa Bear's coming in strong. We allowed you to live here without contributing anything, so that you could get back on your feet, all because of that family that you defend so much. You've harmed yourself and your husband and now us.
Whew.
What did you expect? My daughter told you no more than 2 weeks ago to get your sister off her property, and you completely ignored that in a total lack of respect towards her and all of us. So the Papa Bear is redeeming himself.
Yeah, kind
for
of. I mean, like, he kind of started this problem, but
yeah. So, but
But
he's redeeming
he's
himself.
redeeming
He's
himself,
coming to the
yeah.
defense of
Yeah.
his daughter, standing up for her
Good.
and telling them off, putting down
Good.
hard boundaries. Says no. Her husband interrupted and apologized to us since he didn't know that Emily didn't have authorization to bring her sister to the house, much less that I told her she couldn't stay there. He's like, I'm pissed at Emily.
He's like, sorry.
To which I said, I'm so sorry, but because of all of this, we can't trust you to respect the boundaries we've set. Please vacate the property by the end of the month. There's also someone coming to install cameras on the property, and I've already told the doorman not to let anyone else in, just you two. Doorman. Got some money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry it had to come to this, but you're leaving us no choice, Emily. You're like family to us, but you betrayed our trust. And you know what? We trust you to go listen to full episodes with stories like this. Just go to Spotify, your favorite podcast app, and search OK Story Time.
Oh man, there's a little bit left of the story, but final thoughts, like fair.
Fair.
Get her out of there. You gave
I'm
her a
saying
month.
fair.
Very fair.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I said. At the end of the day, I'm
you
right.
said 1 week, then you said 2 weeks, then you said 3 weeks.
I settled on 3, but man, oh man, Kimberly Fine says he came in with the "I'm disappointed" energy.
Dude.
Not mad. I'm just
He came in.
disappointed.
I liked his response.
Me too.
I felt proud
Me too.
for standing up for his house, his daughter.
Yeah, I felt good. But there is a little bit left to the story, so let's finish it off.
So yeah, that's it. They'll be out of the house by the end of the month. I honestly don't know what will happen to our friendship.
Probably not.
Probably not
Nothing
things
good.
from now on, but it will be hard for everything to go back to normal, at least for now. Thank you so much for your help and support.
And there you have it. That's the end of that story.
Do you have any last words?
No, I think they handled it well. Yeah.
Fair. Seems like they put warnings down, they put boundaries down, they were broken,
Yeah.
disrespected, lied to. Makes sense.
I cut off my longtime friend because she made my wife uncomfortable. But my wife thinks I overreacted?
Oh,
Plot
that's
twist.
normally the right move.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wrong
Your wife
move.
is on hard mode.
Recently, I, 40 male, cut off contact with one of my good friends. We'll call her Allison, 40 female. I have known Allison almost 16 years, long before I met my wife. We met in college and were part of the same friend group. By the way, this comes from Throwaway MSI on the OK Storytime subreddit. So after Allison and I graduated college, we both moved to the same city for a job. We found apartments close by and would hang out regularly. We would do grocery shopping together, hang out at each other's apartments, and go out for dinner. One day, Allison told me that she loved spending time with me and that maybe we should officially date. I told her that I liked her as a friend too, but we were very different people and I did not think of her in that way. She told me that since we already spent so much time together, she just assumed I was interested in her and hence asked me. And she also felt we were very different people. She's like, no, I totally get it. I wasn't actually interested in you either.
Yeah,
I
doing
thought
the
you were
classic.
interested in me.
Doing the classic. Oh no, I'm just kidding.
JK.
Oh, dude, that's so funny. You thought I was being serious.
We never discussed this after that. Nothing changed between us, and we remained close friends. 1 year later, I met my wife. We started dating, and I couldn't be happier. I remember thinking after our first date that she was exactly the person I wanted to be with. She's smart and caring, and I can't help but feel lucky I found her. We both got married and are now happily married for 11 years with one cute kid.
That you were like first date, like,
Yeah.
yeah, there she is. There's my wife.
That's crazy. Can't imagine. Allison also met her husband around the time I was dating my wife, and she also married a few months after me. We all remain good friends to this day. My wife has asked me when I was dating if Allison and I ever dated. I was honest with her and told her about that one night when Allison asked me if we should date. She never had a problem with Allison, and they both also went shopping together. The issue started happening 1 year ago. Allison told my wife and me one night that she was not happy with her marriage and felt her husband did not treat her well. I don't want to go into specifics, but 4 months after that, they filed for divorce and amicably separated. Allison did start spending more time with my wife and me as we were her emotional support. However, as time went by, Allison started texting me and telling me how sad she was. I always told her she was happy to visit us anytime if she wanted to talk. My wife, however, did not like that she was messaging me and not in group chat, as she was as much of a friend to Allison as I was. She also felt that it was okay to be her support as a couple, but didn't want her to see me along as her emotional support and messaged me after 10 p.m. about her problems. I did follow what my wife said, as I feel as a married couple, we should have boundaries with how we talk to our friends, irrespective of their gender.
How long? Like, is it 15 years?
Yeah, I see it kind of both ways, and there is more, because I do kind of understand what OP's wife is saying of this girl bad feelings for you. Her marriage is not working out, and now she's trying to rely on just you for emotional support, even though we're all friends.
Wait, was it her who had the feelings? I thought it was OP.
Allison had the feelings.
Oh.
For OP, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, Allison asked OP out, and OP was like, hey, I don't see you like that. And she was like, no, me neither. I don't know if I said it in the wrong way, but when I told Allison about this, she lost it on me and started berating my wife for being controlling. I tried to explain to her that it's just boundaries that we have to set as a couple, and I'm sure I would do the same if my wife's friend was messaging her late at night. However, she was just offended by the implication that she had any motives for talking to me. After the fight, I decided to let the situation cool off on its own and didn't reach out to Allison. She also has not messaged me since then. My college friends are now calling me and telling me I am an a-hole for ignoring Allison in such a vulnerable moment and that I'm a bad person. Which is not what happened.
No, it's really more like you were trying to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
And it's like, honestly, dude, I think you could still be there for Allison,
Well, I
but
mean, it
just
just doesn't
not
seem
in
like
the
he
middle
was-
of the night.
That's all he was saying, I think.
That's it. That's
So
all.
Allison, I think he was
Just not in
overreacting.
the middle of the night.
My wife, of course, supports me, but feels like I let the situation go too far. I do miss Allison, but I am not comfortable talking to her if she does not respect my wife and my boundaries and messages me at any time of the day.
To just mention is that as soon as she started bashing your wife, being
Yeah,
like, she's good, that's when it's like, all right,
Yeah, I'd be
step
like, no.
back. Been married for 11 years.
Bye-bye.
Do not talk bad on my wife.
My wife.
On my wife.
Do you think I offended Allison when I told her not to message me late in the night? If you were in my situation, how would you tell your friend to respect your boundaries? And there is an update.
Is that literally all that they said?
I
to her?
think that's all OP said. I think he was like, hey, my wife's a little bit uncomfortable with this. Do you mind just texting me in my business hours? Thanks everyone for all your opinions. I don't know who to talk to about this since everyone around me seems to think I was overreacting. I showed the post to my wife, and after reading it and the comments, she was a bit mad at me. Rightly. According to her, I did omit some key facts from the story that make Allison sound like a bad guy. Here are some of the things I should have mentioned according to her. Number 1.
Let's get it.
Allison asked about dating once, 13 years ago. I should let it go. She has been a great friend to us and a great aunt to my son. Number 2. Allison and I only hang out in social settings, mostly at parties and get-togethers with our friends and family. My wife is in charge of my social calendar. In the way of she's like, hey, we're going to a party together on this day, or she's like, you can go outside on Tuesday at 3 p.m.
She calls Elizabeth. I've arranged a play date with our husbands. They can hang out today.
Hence, she talks to Allison more than I do. She has been a close friend of Allison for a long time, and she spends time together with her and makes plans with her even when I'm not around. Number 3. Allison has told my wife that she sees me as an older brother who is very protective of her. This is true. I have very few good friends, and I do care a lot about all. Number 4. The messaging at night happened only twice. We have do not disturb, but there is a list of people as an exception, and Allison is one of them. However, we only expect them to message if there is an emergency. When Allison messaged me, my wife first asked if she was okay, but then was annoyed since we're both sleeping. Hence, when it happened again, she asked me to tell her not to message late. She also mentioned why she was messaging me and not the group chat. Number 5, our fight happened 3 weeks ago. My wife has been telling me every day to call Allison and sort things out. We both still care about her. My wife also thinks that Allison and I have huge egos and are acting like kids, and my post just went too far. She called Allison this evening after reading the post. They're meeting on Sunday for brunch. I am not going, as I'm not going to talk to her until she apologizes to my wife. Let's see what happens.
Go get brunch. What are you
I think
talking?
they're chill,
Who
man.
is this guy? What
I
is
think-
this from?
I think he's
What's going on?
overreacting a little bit. After reading all of that, I think his wife was like, hey, can you just let her know we're not up after 10 p.m.
Yeah, because it sounds
because
like
it woke her up. It was just like, hey, can you just let her know it was too late or something? And
Yeah.
he took that super far. She's like, dude, what?
I was waiting for the other shoe to drop
Yeah.
of so here's the points my wife said I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
And they're like
No, it was
all
just
exceptionally normal things.
Allison seems like fine. Maybe I think she did overreact, but I also think OP overreacted.
But I do think that it's weird that she's hanging up on the fact that they talked about dating once 13 years ago.
yeah. So the TLDR is my wife now thinks I have been rude to Allison and not emotionally available to her when she needs us. OP's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I think Opie's confused.
My eyebrows are my
confused.
eyebrows are raised. My
Yeah.
eyebrows are raised at the wife right now because it feels like
yeah.
she's like low key manipulating him.
I think Opie's just really confused. My wife read my post and decided to take things into her own hands. She's also good friends with Allison and told me that she cannot stop being her friend just because of our misunderstanding. She met Allison on Sunday for brunch. I took my kid to a trampoline park and had fun. After brunch, this is my wife's description of what happened. She said that Allison met her and looked sad. She immediately apologized to my wife and told her that she said some terrible things about her in the heat of the moment that she did not mean. They hugged it out and had a nice brunch. I also heard that a lot of tears were shed. Allison told my wife that she has been feeling down since Thanksgiving, since it was her first Thanksgiving without her ex after many years, and was overwhelmed with the prospect of being alone during holidays. Hence, she wanted to talk to someone. Since she lost most of her friends in divorce, as they were mostly her husband's friends, we were the closest people to her. Hence, she wanted to talk to us that night. She knows my wife and I sleep early and hence didn't message in the group chat like she always does. She saw me online at 10 p.m. and hence messaged me. Hot hences.
Dropping a lot of hints right now.
This part was not correct, as I distinctly remember being woken up from her sleep with her message. Ooh.
Now we've got the official
stories, yeah.
first time husband's been like, I don't know
Wait
if
a
these details are
minute.
lining up.
She felt bad that I was so dry in my responses and lost it when I told her not to message me at night. She also hated the implication of me telling her to use group chat, as she felt I was her friend and I was pushing her away. After that, from what I understand, there was a lot of talk about how I am emotionally unavailable to her, and my wife also agreed that while I did a lot of things, I never really talked to her in detail about how she's feeling. After brunch, Allison gave my wife a bag of gifts she got for my kid for Christmas. She always spoils him, especially during the holidays. My wife invited Allison to spend the night at her place so that she could watch my kid open the presents. Allison agreed, and she told her that she would come in the evening. Allison messaged me before coming that she was coming in 30 minutes and to tell my wife. Once she came, it was nice to see her, and she gave me a long, warm hug. We had a wonderful time at night, but my kid was happiest since his favorite person was home. We also had a nice morning, and Allison helped me make breakfast while my wife got my son ready for the morning. My wife got Allison a sweater, but Allison commented how I didn't buy her a gift. She asked me to assemble her furniture on Friday and mount her new TV, so there goes my free day on Friday. Overall, my thoughts on Allison is that she is a good friend, and I know how much I love my wife and never do anything to jeopardize our relationship. Hence, if my wife is comfortable, I should not make things weird and just be there for a friend. I don't think there's going to be another update, but I just wanted to write this as things turned out okay in the end. And P.S., a lot of you messaged me privately. I read all the messages, but I chose to ignore them without replying.
Hence, there is an update.
You guys messaged me after 10 a.m., so I chose to ignore them.
Yeah,
I'm confused.
I feel like this update, and I might be wrong, I feel like this update is going to be him being like, yeah, so I read your comments and I realized my wife was controlling my entire life.
Mini update. I thought the last update would be final and things are going great, but all comments felt like you were trying to talk me off the ledge. My wife is going to her parents' house today with my kid, so today morning during breakfast, I asked her to read the comments on Reddit. She told me that it's stupid I'm posting this on Reddit, and she's sure I must have again embellished the facts to suit my narrative. She refused to read the post.
Oh, I feel like I was right.
She feels she is great at reading people, and she knows Allison better than anyone on Reddit who just knows her through my short post. She brought up how I go to help my guy friends on their projects sometimes early Sunday mornings and asked me why I'm hesitant to help Allison. I am sorry to say, but she also told all of you to get a life and stop watching soap operas, as real life is not as complicated.
Wrong. Real life is actually probably even more complicated than soap operas, because soap operas are just written figments of imagination. Yeah, no, it sounds like the wife is completely dismissing his experience.
Yeah.
And to the point
sus. I'm a little sus on this wife.
She doesn't want to read the Reddit post because she doesn't want to read any comments that might be coming at her.
Oh.
And I would bet you 10 to 1 she's already read it.
She has a point. I help my friends all the time, and if she trusts me to be alone with Allison, then it would be sexist for me to be hesitant to not help her just because she's a good-looking woman.
But wasn't there just a moment where you kind of expressed your uncertainty about Allison?
After reading the comments, I am curious as to what exactly is going on. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to Allison's house tomorrow to help her with furniture. I'm going to see if she says anything remotely weird that is out of line. If she does, I get a reason to avoid her in the future. If she does not, then she gets her furniture assembled. Also, I know I am 100% faithful to my wife. I am 6'3" and 200 pounds, so I don't think I need to worry about anything. I liked the comment to go there early and get done quickly. That way I get the rest of the day to myself and finally try out my new Quest 3 for the rest of the day. Finally, Allison messaged me this morning and asked me what time I was coming. She asked me to come at 10 a.m. since it's her day off too and wants to sleep in late. Also asked me what I would like to have for lunch as she would be cooking. And there is another final update. I will say, really quick, it seems like OP is uncomfortable with Allison and has kind of brought that up and is getting dismissed. I don't think you necessarily have to have a reason for not wanting to hang out with someone.
But wasn't
Like, you can
this
just be,
your
like,
old?
evasive
I feel like
vibes.
the reason that he's uncomfortable is because he's just like, I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah.
Because it seemed
That's
like
what
he
it
wasn't
was
uncomfortable
dismissing.
at all at the beginning. He's like, yeah, I don't know. It was fine. I told her I told her we can't text like this anymore, and then she
Yeah.
got really mad and is like, now at this
Yeah.
point, I feel like it's more like he wants an apology, I guess. But it's like,
Yeah.
I think you need to get the apology from your wife
I
for
don't know.
throwing the wrench into this entire thing.
Very strange.
Because unless she was spam calling you in the middle of the night, it's like a text messages to your phone.
Yeah.
And she was mad that it wasn't in a group chat with her.
This is my final update, and hopefully my life will be very uneventful in 2024. I recently wrote a post regarding falling out with my friend Allison, 40 female, due to her not respecting the boundaries that I set. My wife got us to reconcile on Christmas Eve, and Allison asked me to assemble some of her furniture as a Christmas gift. I thought that was my last update, but everyone on Reddit seems to think Allison has some ulterior motive for calling me to her place when my wife and kid are off at their parents' place. So the plan was I go to Allison's place at 10 a.m. and assemble her stuff. She was to cook a nice meal for me and then come home and finally get to play my Quest 3 on my free day. On Thursday night, I was talking to my wife before sleeping, and her tone was slightly different. She had 100 questions about my visit to Allison's place, when I was going, when I was coming back. She said that our toddler son missed me a lot, especially when sleeping since I always tuck him in. She asked me if I could directly come to her parents' place after I was done with Allison's work and try to come there before dinner. I was okay with that, but that meant I had to leave Allison's place before 2 a.m. So I messaged Allison and we decided that I would come at 9 a.m. I reached there around that time. And Allison had just woken up and was in her pajamas, as some of you guys had predicted. She offered me coffee and breakfast, but I had already eaten, so just got the coffee. She showed me what needed to be done and went to take a shower and get dressed. After that, she came to help me, but after she messed up a few things, I told her to just play something on Netflix and continue my work. She then went to prep for food. We talked about our friends, gossiped, etc. And to be honest, it was a really fun time. I did confront her about why she told our friends about our fallout and made me the villain. She taunted me that unlike me, they call her to check on how she is. One funny thing was my wife and son kept on calling me every hour as my son wanted to show me all the things he was doing. So that kept us entertained too. Allison was mostly talking to him while I was working. The food was amazing. For context, Allison and I are from the same country and were born in the same city. So she cooked some curry that we only get in my part of the country. It was great, and I thoroughly enjoyed the food. Made the visit totally worth it, to be honest. She did not say anything bad about my wife, but asked me why my wife reached out to her and not me. She also asked me if our fight caused any tension between us. Finally, I was done by 2:30 p.m. since it was a 4-hour drive. She asked me if I wanted to rest for a bit since I had been working since morning, but I decided to get going so that I could make dinner. She also had a great time and told me we should hang out more. Allison did pack some leftovers for my wife and her parents. Overall, you guys were wrong, and it was nice to spend time with dear friend. I did not get any creepy vibes from her, but it would be creepy of you guys to not listen to full episodes of stories like this. Just go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime. This is all a little bit suspicious. We got a little bit left.
I'm still suspicious on the wife.
Everything
and
is
I don't
like
think we're gonna get
into
any confirmation about it.
I feel like I'm on the edge of a cliff. I'm like, oh, this is kind of weird, but we never got any of the weird stuff. When I reached my in-laws' place, it was late, but we had a nice dinner, and of course, were able to tuck my son in. I was talking to my wife and my mother-in-law at night, and my mother-in-law was pissed at why I would go to Allison's place alone. Apparently, my wife told my mother-in-law about the whole saga, and she saw red flags all over, just like you guys. Girl!
Red flags with who?
With Allison, girl!
No!
The wife told you to do that!
We've been friends for 15 years, dude.
She scared my wife into thinking something was off. That was the real reason my wife called me over early so that I finished my work sooner. I think my wife was also calling me every hour to check if everything was okay. I freaking knew it! However, I told them there was nothing to worry about, and I had a nice time, and Allison was very appropriate. We had a great weekend and just returned today. Sorry, everyone, if my post is not as spicy as everyone expected, but guess this is real life. Wish you all Happy New Year. Something's wrong with this wife.
Who was feeding that information to the wife?
The mother-in-law and...
In-law, so her mom.
No. The wife was talking to the mother-in-law and being like, I don't know, like, I'm a
Wife
little
was
bit...
talking to his mom.
No, to her mom.
Her mom.
To her mom. So OP's goes over to Allison's. Wife talks to her mother-in-law and is like, I don't know, this is weird. Allison's gonna try something and is like putting, talking. So then the mother-in-law gets mad at OP when the freaking wife told OP to go over to Allison's house. Was
In
like,
fact,
no, do it.
demanded it.
Encouraged it. And OP was like, I
Implied
don't know,
he would
kind
be
of,
sexist if he didn't.
My fiance's best friend's wife started drama at our wedding.
Maybe no longer best friend status.
We, bride and groom, are of different nationalities, living in a different country than our own. The wedding was held in my native country because it's just beautiful there, and everything was pretty much arranged remotely with a few scheduled visits. By the way, this comes from VCL Race, and if you want to share your stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, first and foremost, I'm happy to say that overall, everything went smoothly, and we had a happy engagement. From the planning to the wedding day, my now hubby and I organized everything together in a span of 10 months. And even though we were expecting way more drama, nothing really shook us as a couple or individually. Of course, we ran through some hiccups like family miscommunications about the details, schedules, airport rides, and last minute purchases. But then again, nothing really concerning until Miss, let's call her Devlin, enters the scene. To frame who Devlin is, she's the wife of the groom's best friend from childhood. The groom and his BFF live in different countries now, but maintain daily contact and are even in business together remotely. The BFF is married for a good 10 years, and all I know about the apple of his eye, Devlin, is that 1, she's some sort of party planner decorator. 2, she was a dramatic girl growing up, like being 18 years old and calling the police on her friends because they were smoking after a night out. 3, she doesn't really have friends nowadays as she's a full-on businesswoman. 4, for some unspoken reasons, summed up to things like, she's just odd. Oh, that's just Devlin. It's not even worth discussing it. Things from the past. All the wives, girlfriends of my husband's friends, don't like her. The ones that met her in person. The above are the very little and not reassuring things I've learned about Devlin during those months of planning. Until then, nobody really spoke of her. She was just mentioned as the wife of his BFF, a total side character. And note that I never met her in person until the wedding day. How did I come to learn these things about Devlin, you ask? How did this woman get involved with the wedding, you keep asking? Well, that's because when we announced our engagement, she very enthusiastically offered to take over the wedding decoration. For about 3 months, she bombarded my husband with texts, which is far from normal, saying how happy she is about us and how nice it will be to get everyone together after so long. How her elopement wedding didn't give her a chance to do decorations, which is now her calling. Low-key inserting herself as a type of friend she isn't, with the ultimate goal of doing the decoration. Brown noser in my scarcely informed opinion. The decoration decision was getting delayed because I argued more than once that I didn't have a good feeling about going with her for the decor, and that usually these types of services, when provided by friends or family, can get tricky. Yeah. it's never like the best idea to do stuff with, like that with friends and family, because then money gets in, it can be weird.
Yeah, the money is the stickiest issue of all time.
Yeah. To which my husband argued that she was very much insistent that this was the gift she wanted to give us. We wouldn't regret it, that this was even an opportunity for her one-person company, etc. Basically, my husband is that kind of guy that is too good for his own good, and also a great representative of the stereotype we have of men, and he was clearly just damn tired of the texts, worn down, ready to make it stop and settle. So because of the type of decoration we wanted was very simple, minimalistic boho, and because hubby promised he'd be the intermediary between Devlin and I to ensure everything was as we wanted and I wouldn't have to deal with the stress or the person I have a bad feeling about, we closed the deal. The long distance arrangements were fine enough, even though I reiterated my bad feeling a few times along the way. The process passed through, simply explain and show exactly what we wanted. She then told us all the materials she needed and quantities, and we bought/ordered everything to have it ready at the venue 24 hours before the event as agreed. The gift was purely her service. Devlin arrived at the venue on the day before the wedding, just her and her husband. I started to panic as I couldn't see two people handling a full wedding decoration in 24 hours, and I wasn't the one arranging this deal. When I took it to my hubby, he said that he had arranged for some people from his side of the family to help her out beforehand. I felt slightly relieved, but still offered myself and some of family members that were willing to help out if needed. However, that was promptly refused. In the evening, I noticed that only her and her husband were working on the decoration. When I asked my husband about it, he said that she told the people helping her that she didn't want any help. It was all under control. The wedding day comes, and I was told in the morning that my husband's best friend didn't attend his bachelor gathering the night before because he was required to help Devlin. Well, she refused the help that was set up for her. But not my problem. It just starts confirming my gut feeling about this woman. When my bridesmaids and I were ready and it was time for the ceremony, our bouquets were nowhere to be found. Everything was ready, everyone was waiting, and I was stuck in the car while my mom was running up and down the venue, a big vineyard with accommodation houses around the whole property, looking for Devlin. A good 20 minutes passes, and I'm still stuck in the car when my mom comes running with my bouquet. Very beautiful. And some hastily arranged flowers for my bridesmaids, clearly falling apart. My mom explained to me that she had to throw these together with the help of the venue staff, as it looks like Devlin was still busy decorating the reception, was gonna miss the ceremony, and didn't remember the bridesmaids' flowers. The ceremony goes on, all dreamy and beautiful, until Devlin shows up for pictures wearing a red dress. That in both of our cultures is offensive. If you wear a red dress, you're basically saying you have slept with a groom, FYI she did not, never, or that you'd happily take him from the current union. I try to ignore it and move on with my day, but some people were asking me directly who the woman in red was. Those questions didn't last much longer, but not for a good reason. The reason being, when the reception started, she changed her outfit to, drumroll, a white suit.
Oh, I don't think we've seen that combo before, where it's like you hit you hit both of the bad colors for the wedding. You should not wear.
Yikes. I didn't want to feed pettiness on my day. I wanted to just enjoy it. So I told my bridesmaids to just ignore her, as I would too. And I did, and had a lot of fun. Looks like being actively ignored and avoided by all my guests for the rest of the night must have struck a chord in her, because the next day she went back to the venue, not to help clean up, but to destroy all the flower arrangements, breaking them in two pieces right in the face of the venue staff that was supposed to keep them for another event, which was authorized by us, saying to the staff that it was her art. I was no longer there because we had a flight that same day, and I got a hold of the situation because one of the staff called me about it. But when I tried to get a hold of her, I couldn't. She even deleted/blocked us both from social media, and we couldn't do anything. I called my mom, asking her to please go see what was going on, and once my mom got there, Devlin started to act like a little lamb, saying she was there to help clean out. In front of my mom, she was a completely different person than she was for staff. I started pushing my husband to call his BFF and literally ask what's going on. When he does, the husband is repeating what she's telling him on the side. We could hear her saying there were materials in the arrangement that were hers, like some holding plastics. BS! We bought it all. And if she wanted to keep whatever, why did she break the arrangements in half and fill trash bags with it? That conversation was just not going anywhere, so we decided to just let it go for our sake and his BFF's. We thought we were done with it when, during our honeymoon, his BFF calls all upset, saying that his wife is distraught because we went around telling people, other guests, that she did a crappy job, that we didn't like it, that we thought it was ugly, and that it had ruined our wedding. All lies. We didn't speak to anyone about anything. We were literally enjoying our honeymoon, and we did adore the decoration itself. We'd never say it was ugly. My husband had to send screenshots of his last conversations with some of their friends to prove that his wife is not and never even was a topic of conversation. But you know what should be a topic of conversation in your life? Listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime.
That's right. I know that's right.
No, that's right. And there is a little bit left, but honestly, I think your husband needs to have a talk with his friend and say, hey, this behavior is getting out of hand, and unless she can stop trying to drag our name through the mud, then we can't really see you if you guys are gonna keep acting like this.
Doing like the inter friend circle like politics play of being like, oh well, they insulted all my decorations. It's like now you're going out of the way to just mess up not just their situation, but like everyone in the friend group. You're messing up everyone's dynamic just to feel what? Like to feel important or seen somehow? I don't know.
Very silly, very silly.
I definitely know anyone wearing a red dress to a wedding is trying to be seen.
But to finish it off, I just don't get it. She's an acquaintance to me, not even that close to my husband, and she went out of her way to be part of our wedding as a director, to then crap directly on me with her outfit choices, and to top it off, tries to get her husband and mine to argue with each other. My question is just why? What motivates a person to do this? Is it main character syndrome? I'm still shocked to this day. And the question above all is, how is she not embarrassed? And that is the end of that story.
I have a great answer for all of those. And if you want the answer to those questions, you know what you just need to do?
Ask.
Just confront her.
Yeah, say like,
have
hey,
a conversation.
Girly, why are you telling people that we're talking about you? Because we're not.
Exactly.
We're busy. We're not even thinking about you. But that is the end of that story.
My wife is furious I didn't defend her honor when people talked openly about her past.
How dare you not defend my honor?
How dare you? I'm at a loss here. We've been married just under 2 years. We've been together for a little over 3 years. Our mutual friend set us up on a date, and we've been together ever since. We have vastly different backgrounds, and honestly, we are even different over some values. Nothing huge or anything that makes me think differently of her, but they are there. By the way, this comes from No Honor 23, and if you have some honor and a story, send it to r/OK Storytime subreddit.
That's right, but only if you have the prerequisite honor. Or not, honestly.
Or not. You can just send us whatever. I've had a couple of previous girlfriends that have lasted for a good length of time each, and I dated a few other girls over the years, but nothing ever came of them. She, on the other hand, was wild. Her words, not mine. And we had a very vast, spicy sleep life. Now, before you think this is another one of these posts where the guy can't get over his wife's past, let me put an end to that, okay? I knew about it before we got married, and I understood that we were just different about that. We were just different. It's no big deal as long as it was in the past. The only time it ever became an issue was when I found out the guy who was both of our friends who set us up was a previous lover of hers. That made me feel weird for some reason, but that's all it was, and I never said a word about it to her. Well, anyways, this past weekend, we attended a party that was held by one of her friends. And while we were there, the booze was flowing freely, which usually is never a good thing. And a group of guys were talking about how macho they were because they had bedded so many women and were doing the usual BS.
That's my translation of a bunch of guys talking.
Then the two of them started talking about this one woman that they did within an hour of each other. And they started talking about how she was there that night and was betting they could get her to do both of them at the same time.
Oh, these people are gross. That's gross.
Spicy talk.
It's a gross thing to...
Holy jeebers.
Yeah.
It was at this time that another guy who was also a friend of mine recognized that it was my wife these two were talking about. And he jumped in trying to change the conversation. Oh, man. However, I figured it out and just decided the best thing to do was to walk away. Obviously, after I left, my friend told them that I was the husband, and well, the two both snickered at that, and then the group broke up.
All right, pause. If your wife's mad because she found out you walked away after hearing that, your wife's right. Sorry, buddy. You need to at least walk over and give him a piece of your mind. You need to fight with your mind.
Yeah, with your head. Give him some
Say
head.
something that will wreck them for years to come.
Give him some head, piece of this.
Good, just give him a good old dose of head
Right there.
from you.
Mm-hmm. Head, butt.
Head juice.
Excuse me?
You heard exactly what I said.
I go get a drink and figure that I will just hang there somewhere quiet till she is ready to leave. I see her sitting with a group of her female friends, and she seems to be having a good time. So I find a TV, plop down to watch whatever is on, and about a half an hour later, she comes to me and tells me that she is ready to go, and I could tell by her voice that she was pissed. As we drive home, she doesn't say a word. I ask her if she had a good time, and she just glared at me.
Yeah, she'd be like, I would have had a good time if my freaking boyfriend had a spine. That's sick. Or my husband.
Why don't you give him some head? Piece of your
if
mind.
my husband would have given some head at the
Piece of his freaking mind. So when we get to the house, she erupts in anger at me. Our friend went and told her what was said and that I walked away. She was pissed at me for letting them say these things about her. She was pissed because I let them humiliate her, and she was pissed because I wasn't. Talking with her at this point was going to do no good as she was just livid. I just told her we could talk when she calmed down. That was early Sunday morning, and she is refusing to talk to me now at all, other than to tell me what time she would be home from work or some issues. Our car. I was planning on taking her tonight when she gets home, but I'm not sure what to say or where to go with this. I mean, maybe I was wrong for walking away, but I just didn't think challenging two guys to a fisticuffs, bing, 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 a bing, bop, boom, boom, bop, bop, bam.
But you see, you're not. You don't have to do that.
No.
You can walk up to them and make them. So you're outing yourself right now that you don't have a lot of brain juice going on.
Uh-oh.
Because I gotta say, if I had a wife and I heard two goons at a party saying how they were gonna get with her at the same time, I would certainly say something.
Yeah, it's like, yo.
I wouldn't walk over there and just go like, pop, bam. I'd be like, words.
Yeah.
Right?
I also think it's good and helpful to know, what would the wife want in this. There's what the wife wants in the scenario. We didn't know beforehand. One can only hope that you know your partner well enough to know, what she would want. And so doing that for her. And then there's also what you
feel is right.
What
do you feel is right?
So, cause I could also see a scenario where the partner's like, hey, I don't want you going up to them and making that a bigger deal. And then in that case, do we respect the partner's wishes of that in that specific scenario?
Or you could be
different people have different.
You could be a real G and move in silence like lasagna and just start plotting. Make a plot, make a plan, make a scheme, serve them their comeuppance. Nothing illegal, nothing that would make you end up in a cell of some kind.
Yeah.
Just begin your plot.
Wow. Could be done.
And actually, you could tell your wife, you could be like, babe, I'm plotting. Don't worry, they're not getting away with that. Plotting.
Something's coming.
Scheming.
So Opie says, I would have made a scene and it would have been nothing but drama. So I just thought removing myself was the best option. I guess I was wrong there, or was I? Question mark. I didn't even know who they were talking about until my friend made it obvious he was trying to change the subject. What should I have said or done? For that matter, why am I at fault here? Heck, I'm the one who had to hear about these two that shared my wife before she was my wife. Like she was a party favor, so it wasn't all fun and games for me either.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, I missed that. I thought they were being like, oh, this is what we would. They're saying, hey, remember when we did do that?
This is they're talking about the past.
Oh, okay.
They were saying and also to be clear, not that this makes it any better, they didn't know it was Opie's wife when they were saying it, and then dude number 3 is like, yo, that's Opie's wife, yo, chill. But then they still kind of snickered, we got you.
Well, erase everything I've said. Everything I've said is completely irrelevant now because the context was not right in my brain.
Well,
in my smooth brain.
I think what is something that's very fair, going up to those guys and it's like, hey, would you talk to your sister about your sister like that? Show some respect. Come on.
Dude, they're just going to dunk on you for that, bro. They're turned up at a party. You come over walking, would you talk to your sister like that? I'd be like, I mean, I wouldn't. But like, if I was in character as these goons,
If you're playing the character,
I would now
as the
direct
goon.
all of my goon energy to the guy who was like, would you say that about your sister? I'd be like, what are you? Are you my sister? Like, I don't know. I would.
It could go back, but at least that's like you being like, you got no respect.
That really, yeah.
But I think again,
like I said, erase everything I said.
Yeah,
it's not, that's.
I think there's a scenario again, because like I do think there are, and not to sidetrack too much, but I think in these scenarios, people are always asking like, what is right, what is wrong, like as this like blanket, like what is this like universal law? I think it's more like what's right and wrong in the context of your relationship.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, that's what really matters here.
Yeah. So if like the partner is like, hey, I'd actually rather you not make a big deal because that would make me more uncomfortable, whatever. Hey, doing that. If your partner wants you to, I don't know, it's kind of tough because then it's like, does she want you to get into like actually get into a confrontation? I think we'll learn more of what OP's wife was feeling here, but
Yeah.
We'll keep going. We'll keep going.
The point that I'm reframing it in my head, and I think now it's like one. I just don't want to keep yapping, but if her past makes her uncomfortable, that's her problem. But if OP didn't know about her past and he just heard that for the first time,
He knows.
yeah, so you already know. But also, when you hear that, OP, you should have something to say. You can't just be like completely silent about it. You say something back. Have your wife's back. Guys are bragging about treating her like a piece of meat. Do something. Say
like-
something.
Well, I feel like with these guys, they're just gonna like triple down. Like they're just gonna get in your face about it, and that's just to make like it's gonna get hostile. I don't know. Like I would say something, but
Yeah,
it's such a fine.
think-
I don't
yeah.
know. It's like a fine.
It is a
line.
fine line, I think.
I would say something. I'm like, hey, that's
Yeah.
not cool, or like,
Yeah.
hey, shut up. But
Yeah.
like, then you open that can of worms because those guys are like, yeah, what are you gonna do about it? You know what we did? And you're like, oh,
Here we go.
That's when you plot in silence.
what does that mean?
You don't do
We
anything
don't need to
that's
plot in
illegal.
silence.
Plot in silence. You don't do anything illegal.
But anyways, let's get back to the story. So I knew about her past and could live with it, but it's another thing to be smacked in the face with it. Any advice would be appreciated here. And there is an update, but we're going to dive right in. Things didn't go well, and now roles are reversed. Uh-oh. What kind of role
Wait.
reversal?
Roles are reversed.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait. Okay.
We'll see. First of all, I tried to talk to her that night when she got home from work. She was late, but that is not a big deal, and I knew that she was going to be late. Normally, she will come in, grab her food, and come sit in the living room with me or watch TV or something while she eats dinner. But instead, she walked in, grabbed her food, and walked straight back to the computer room without saying a word to me. I let it slide, figuring, okay, another night to cool off. She at least said goodnight to me, but that was it. Thursday was just pretty hectic for both of us, and her family was over, pre-scheduled, so it wasn't a surprise for me. But after they left, she went immediately to bed. By Friday, I had had enough. So I think we're 3 or 4 days completely silent treatment.
I'm sorry, wife, but I didn't do any of that stuff with those guys. Why are you treating me like that's what I did? Why are you treating me like I did that at the party? That is not what happened.
Yeah, the cold shoulder is very cold.
This is
It's a
some
little-
stuff that knock knock you did. Hello? And it's and all of this anger towards OP is because there was no defense of her honor?
Yes, which I think she is being overly harsh on OP.
I'm sorry, wife. That's not a very honorable act. It's okay.
I don't care about
It's
the-
all right.
Honestly, I'm like I'm removing the act. I feel like she is giving OP an undue like harsh treatment.
It's because he was okay with it. Well, except for then he was like, I don't know, it's different being hit in the face with it right in front of me. It's like, but
Which is kind of, I think
it's
that's
understandable,
fair. Yeah.
but also like own it. That's what I'm saying. Girl, own it. You
Yeah.
have to be able to own what you have done. And as the husband, you need to own it too.
Yeah, because it's like, I guess one could say self-acceptance is like, okay, yeah, they're being a-holes, but like that's me. Like, hey, we out here.
I don't know.
Nope,
You
but,
could even just say something like, dang, so you guys remember that? Like, that was probably the best moment of your lives, huh?
I like
Hey,
that.
well, she doesn't even remember you guys. I don't know. They're
But-
like, yes, I think that's a pretty good comeback.
That's
Being
a
like,
great-
literally the peak of your life was
Yes.
having spicy sleep with my current wife
Yes.
before we were married. Great. Happy for you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm married to that.
There you go.
So, whatever.
Have fun with your lives,
Yeah.
guys. Being sad and lonely.
Anything.
And do we agree? It seems she's being at least not as communicative as she should be, and then at most maybe like too harsh towards OP.
Yeah,
right
I
now.
don't think if she was right next to him and it happened, that's one thing. She wasn't, right?
She wasn't.
She heard about this
She
later.
heard about it later.
So that's another layer of like, why are you this
That is
mad?
true,
You
yeah.
you literally, it's not like they said that to your. Now that's a different story.
Yes, that is a
That
whole.
if the wife is there and they're talking to her face like that,
that yes,
now
I
we
agree.
are all
I
getting
agree.
the police involved.
I agree.
Inevitably.
Yeah,
so that's
that's-
unfortunate.
Yeah, agreed.
But hey, sometimes you run your mouth, you find out.
That's right. But by Friday, I had had enough. I got home after her. I worked late on Fridays, and sure enough, she was already secluded in the computer room. I walked in and asked if we could talk, and she gave me a disgusted look and said, "What is there to talk about?" And that is when I said I wanted to talk about the party and the fallout from it. I then walked back into the living room thinking that she was going to follow me. I sat down only to find myself sitting there for several minutes all by myself. I was getting pissed by this time and marched in there and said that I wanted to either talk about this or do something else, but I was not going on living like this. She finally gets up and comes out and then sits first. I first off try to say that I was sorry for my actions, or lack thereof in this case, and that I really wanted her to tell me how she would have liked me to handle it and what should I do if I ever have to deal with something like this again. Communicating.
Yeah, we need more communication.
I think we're starting off good. Hey, my bad for not doing this way. How can I be better in the future?
I'm starting
What
to
do you wanna
question the root of all of this. I'm starting to even question the nature of the conversation that these two guys were having when they were like, "Do you remember?" And it's like,
Because again, remember,
They didn't know.
that it was his wife. They
So,
had no,
yeah.
and they did snicker, like kind of like, oh, like okay, yeah, we got him a little bit,
But
but
yeah.
then they did stop talking.
you know
about
what
it
people do
afterwards.
when they get uncomfortable? A lot of people laugh, right? It's an uncomfortable thing to find out you were just talking about having a ménage à trois with
Yeah.
someone else's wife who's standing right next to you. But again, OP could have had a great moment to be like, to drop the bombshell there and be like, "Hey, that's a funny story about my wife." And then they'd all go, ooh. I feel like if that happened, they go, "Oh my God, I'm sorry."
Yes, right.
And then it's a completely different story.
that's true. I
But-
think, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to think that there wasn't even any malice at the beginning of this. It's
I
just coincidence.
I don't think there was any malice. I think maybe once they realized I feel like the snicker might have been like, got you. But it was like very low key, and then they like shut it down after that. And also friend number 3 was like, yo, like, cut that.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I still think he should have gone up and been like, yo, guys, haha, very funny. That's my wife.
He
Let's
needed
show
to say
some
something.
respect and decorum, shall
I
we?
needed to say something.
Gentlemen?
My
Yeah.
brain is becoming Twin Peaks. It's
Yeah.
just everything is not what it seems.
First, she informs me that there won't be another chance to do this again, as we won't be attending any more parties of her friends because she doesn't feel like she can show her face. I ask her why she is embarrassed to go. This is where things went from bad to worse. I'm expecting her to give the "you don't have to apologize for your past" speech, thinking that she was embarrassed by the two guys talking about her. But no, instead, this is what she tells me. She was not embarrassed to go. She was embarrassed for me to go with her. I came across as less of a man, and she was ashamed of the way I behaved in that moment.
Oh, okay. So dump her. Yeah, dump her. She's trash. Dump her. She wanted you to what? Get a felony for her? She wanted you to start a physical altercation over something that she did, which, by the way, there was no party of 3. They were talking about how it was like one of them got with her, and then that same night another compatriot.
Not even in that group, just another
Right, it was
person.
like two people are like, "Oh, it was same night, yeah." Oh, and it's like,
Which still disrespectful, but yeah.
nah, her being like, "I'm embarrassed to be seen with you," be like, "Dang, I've got a great solution for that. You'll never have to be seen with me again.
Oh.
I'm leaving you right where you are right now."
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you a live demonstration, and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And it's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story. At first, I was stunned. I just sat there. But then all I could sputter out was, what should I have done? She literally wanted me to give the old 1-2 diddly-do to these guys. Okay? I mean, an actual fisticuffs. Okay?
She wanted the bing bop boom 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 bop bam.
Type of thing that you wouldn't understand. I'll let you in on a secret. I've never been in a fisticuffs in my life. I've either been able to talk my way out of it or avoid those situations. I don't know if I could have fought either one of those guys to a standstill, let alone 2-on-1. I sat there in a stunned silence for a good while. Then I asked how that would have helped anything at all. And she said it would have proven that I cared enough to stand up for her.
See, now this would be the moment where you go, hey, so I'll fight those guys the same moment that you build a time machine, you go back in time and you stop yourself from hooking up with those two dudes in the same night.
I'm not even saying that, but
Yeah, no, that's
she's bugging out.
No, that's what
bugging out.
I'm saying. There's no universe in which I'm gonna just fight two random guys for you
Yeah.
over something that you did.
Yeah.
They're not lying. They're not saying it to your face.
And they didn't even know that OP was there, or like, you know, and they did stop after the other friend told them to, like.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Crazy.
I tried to explain that I had no idea who they were talking about for the entire time until the very end. And they were talking about several women, not just her. I said that I didn't want to make a scene at her friend's party and thought that it would have made us look bad if I wanted to fight her friends, which is fair. This rolled off her like water off a duck. So then I said one thing I probably shouldn't have, but in retrospect, I'd probably say it again. I just asked, why the heck should I have been wanting to
bing, bop, boom, bam.
Bing, bop, boom, bam.
Bing, bop, boom.
On somebody if what they were saying was true? They didn't know she was married when they said all that. They thought that she would still do it. And at the time, I didn't even know who they were talking about. Again, OP didn't realize who it was until the end of the conversation, which I believe, frankly. This was when she goes off of me saying she knew her past was going to be used against her.
Hey, that's not what's happening, girl. You are internalizing all of that shame and projecting it onto your husband and the people around you. He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
He hasn't really mentioned it once. And we've seen a lot of situations where that was the case. I don't think this is one. I honestly don't.
He doesn't care at all.
I honestly don't. He was cool.
He cares that you wanted him to, like, go to jail over this.
True.
What you did it. You did it. Why do I have to pay for it? You did it.
Oh, baby. I said I sure as heck wasn't using it now, and if she didn't want me to break the law and bing bop bam someone, I wouldn't even be talking about it now. She got pissed, but by this time, I was pissed myself. I felt like I was put into a no-win situation and that she didn't care enough about me to care about whether or not I would get hurt or arrested over something that I didn't care about. She could tell at this point that I was pissed as well, so we both agreed to just leave it sit for a few days. The weekend wasn't much better, and honestly, I think both of us are reevaluating our relationship. Could I have or should I have said something to the guys? Maybe. I am still not sure about it. I don't know what I would have said without it becoming a big deal, but I truly am upset that she was so upset about it and that she doesn't want me around her friends. And she said that she didn't care about my physical well-being. And we have an update number 2.
No, husband, I don't care about your physical well-being.
Nope. Bing, bop, boom, bam. You need to understand.
Hey,
that's what I want.
I think I'm going to make you my not wife.
Ooh. So update number 2. I have made repeated attempts to talk with her, offered and suggested that we should go to counseling together, and in the end, all has fallen on deaf ears. I'm not going to live like this. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should have done or said something else or anything, but in the end, I didn't. I thought I was doing the right thing, but apparently I was being a coward in her mind, and she sees me as less of a man for it. Well, sadly, this whole episode has now made me see her in a whole new light as well. She honestly would have rather had me end up in jail, the hospital, or eternal sleep as opposed to what I ended up doing. I will not spend the rest of my life with someone who doesn't think I'm man enough because I didn't confront 2 of her previous spicy sleep partners, or worse, in my opinion, doesn't give a real crap one way or another about my well-being. I know she feels the same way from her point of view. I feel bad because I never wanted to be that guy who is divorced, but honestly, I think this is a breaking point for the both of us. I'm already staying at my parents' till we decide on how to split stuff up. Thank God we never had children. And editing in some info. Obviously, my inbox was blown up over this, so there's just no way I can answer everyone individually, so I'm just going to throw out some info here to kind of set the record straight. Number 1, no. She has never demanded anything before that was unreasonable. She has a hot temper, but up until now has never been able to get over something and move on. Number 2, no, I had no idea that she had slept with these 2 guys within an hour of each other. So actually, the 2 guys were there. It was guy number 1. And
I'm saying it wasn't simultaneous.
It wasn't simultaneous. That is true. It was an hour apart. She told me she had a wild past, asked me if I wanted the details, and I declined. My only stipulation about it was that it had to be in the past, as in the moment she and I became exclusive, it could never happen outside of us in a relationship.
Whoa,
Again.
wait a minute. So this is also your fault, buddy. She's like, I got a past. You want to hear it? And you go, nope. That's not how relationships work, dude. I mean, when they're like serious, long-term, committed relationships, it's like, yeah, you should know about your partner's past.
No, I don't think so fully. Like, if they want to talk about, like, there's some things like I want you for you and not about your past.
And
Yeah, I mean, it's
There's some things like there's some details that you should include, like, oh, you did like that's like an important thing, but like I don't think that's important to OP's wife until now.
I feel like it's another gray area one, but I think there is like a middle ground where it's like, hey, look, I had a wild past. I was out in these streets, getting in these sheets. I'm happy to tell you more if you want, but like, I just wanted you to know, like, I want to have someone who's okay with that being my past.
sure.
And if the person is like, okay, I can internally clock, I know that she's out, I don't know the details. Maybe that's too much for me, but in general, I feel like ideally, I guess you do know that's like the perfect scenario, but
Yeah, it's just more about like just knowing your partner. It's not even
Yes.
about like
No.
being able to hold them, be like, "Ah, well, remember when you did this? It's more just like, well, like, I don't know. If I'm going to be married to somebody for the rest of my life, it's like, yeah, I think we should know
let me ask you this.
as like pretty much everything about each other at that point, right? Like
Is
if
it-
we're committed to spending our lives together.
Yeah. Are you saying in the sense of like, because it's like just in conversation, like old stories or old people you've dated, like that, like kind of comes up that way versus like, all right, let me sit down and just like tell you every time I freaking
Yeah, I don't need that.
Gotcha.
I mean,
want,
it's
like-
not like a bulleted list. It's like, it's just, it is what it is. It's like, yeah, that element is like, yeah, I would like to know about that. I don't need the full psychological breakdown of like every moment that happened, but
And guess
just
what? I
like,
think OP was like, I don't need to hear about that. I love you for you. Like, a past is past, but the thing is, with the wife, she was very openly honest about it. Like, hey, I did have a past, and it was, like John said, I was freaking the sheets. Do you want to know about it? As long as the big main point was, are you, free of, I say 3-letter word? ST.
spicy sleep.
Well, yeah, just like your spicy sleep diseases, like
spicy disease.
your spicy disease.
diseases.
Your spicy diseases. Like, if you like, are you like upfront with that? Are you honest about all of that? That's what I want to know.
Yes,
I don't need to
yes.
know about the nitty gritty details about everything. And OP said, like, I don't need to know that.
Yeah.
But now this is the thing where it's like, all right, you didn't choose that. Now this is the consequences of you not knowing. You kind of found out, like, you got the sheets pulled right under your feet, kind of thing. I think what Duchess says is like, oh, there's gonna be people there that I have a history with, but I don't know if she knew that or not. It's one of those things. Like,
Yeah.
it's a sometimes
don't
the
know.
world's a small world.
Yeah.
It does
And
happen.
you never know.
But
Yeah.
the way she's reacting is awful. That's not
Yes.
not on OP.
Yes.
That's your past. We already
And
talked about
she
it.
needs their OP.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I really liked, I liked how OP came and he's like, hey, look, I apologize. Tell me, like, help me learn, like, how you would want me to behave in those scenarios. And she just, like, put down the wall, didn't talk to him for 4 days.
Yep.
Anyways, but I'm going to keep going here. So, number 4, setting the record straight. No, I was not involved in the conversation. No, I did not know anyone there that night other than my wife and 2 mutual friends, one of which was in that conversation. 5, no, I never factually knew that they were talking about her. I made an assumption that it was her when our friend awkwardly jumped in trying to change the conversation. I did not know for a fact it was her until she came storming at me. 6, no, I don't blame the guy for telling my wife. In my opinion, he wasn't tattling, so to speak. I think he was trying to give her a heads up, believe it or not, for my benefit. And I think he was worried that I was going to be mad at her. Yeah, that's another piece. It's like the guy who went and told OP's wife, right? Because she found out by an external third party going to OP. It was like, oh, I overheard these guys talking
And
about
guys,
you.
let that be a freaking lesson. Sometimes you mind your own business. Mind your business.
Yeah, this is
Like,
this.
what good did you do by going and telling her, yeah, these 2 guys were talking about you in front of your husband. He's probably going to hate you now.
This is like
It's like, shut up.
yeah.
Not your circus, not your monkeys.
What people be saying.
That's what they do be saying
That's
that
what
a
the people
lot.
do be saying. And guys, we have a third and final update, which I'm going to dive to right now. I had said that before my last post was going to be the final update, but I thought I would put out a quick amended update. Divorce in my state was actually painless, easy, and quick. Neither of us contested anything, and what assets we had were easy to divide up and no children, so there was literally just some paperwork. Why the update, though? Well, not that it mattered to me, but just as I suspected, as soon as we separated, she went back to her old wild ways, quote unquote.
Oh boy.
And has probably been through as many men in the past 3 months as she did before we got together.
Oh, well, that
Her
sounds a little
previous life.
bitter. That sounds a little bitter, huh?
It
No.
does, but it's also not a good look, I guess. So
Is this another assumption, though?
it could be.
Is this another assumption,
It
OP?
could- I think OP might be actually more bothered by it than he's letting on. And he didn't realize how bothered he was
I think it's
until
starting to eat at him.
starting to eat at him.
Starting to eat
I think it might be starting to eat
away
at him.
like a little corrosive acid.
Just might be. However, I got a call from her father begging me to reconsider as he felt his daughter was spiraling out of control.
Therapy, dude. She needs
Daddy's like,
therapy.
yo, I've been hearing some stories. And listen,
Yeah.
I liked it better
Hey.
when it was you and her.
Dang, getting a call from the dad, that's next level.
Mm-hmm.
Like, please.
Yep.
Please.
Also,
I've seen footage. I've heard stories.
I've heard
Please.
the stories. Oh,
Please.
God. Now, I really like him, the dad, and I told him I felt bad for what happened, but after I explained our argument and my stance on how she didn't care about me or my safety, he understood. I agreed with him that she's probably going to have some kind of mental breakdown, but as of this past week, it is officially no longer my problem. By the way, what I didn't tell him was the very vulgar and insulting text messages she sent me, the photos of her with other guys she sent me. I just figure, why make an issue of it?
Dang.
That
See, this guy really
sucks.
is the unbothered guy. Literally,
I'm
like,
pissed.
his ex-wife sends him pictures with other dudes, and he's like, hey, what are you going to do? What? She's my ex.
I don't want to put the dad through that.
Why do
Yeah,
I
yeah.
care? She's my ex-wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I could send those to your dad, but I won't do that.
But he didn't.
Or,
He
and well,
didn't.
not send him, but like inform him,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. Well, I think it was like just like selfies.
From
Like,
the sound of it,
not
though,
spicy.
Dad's already aware of what's going on.
it sounds like daddy knows a thing or
God,
two.
please.
Daddy knows a thing
Oh,
or two.
please.
Oh. Now, after all of this, can you believe last night she had the gall to show up at my door to my new apartment crying about having lost me and how bad things are for her and how nobody loved her, blah, 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 blah. Whoa. Not gonna lie, I wasn't expecting that. But what I was expecting, what I'm always expecting, is for you to listen to full episodes of stories just like this. That's what I always expect to happen, Dakota. Where do they do that?
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast from.
And what do they search,
All
Dakota?
you guys search is OK Storytime.
Search it, indulge for 10,000 hours straight. I'm going to look up and see how many hours of podcast content we have because I know it's ridiculous.
I just got way sadder for the ex-wife.
So as we come to a close here, just putting a bow on this story before we still have the end, we don't know what's going to happen.
I said, Keon, I got a lot sadder for the ex-wife after that last desperately showing up at your ex-husband's door saying you lost him and no one loves you. And then he goes, and blah, 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 blah. It's like, I feel bad for her because she has worked herself out of the marriage she probably needed.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe she has, maybe I'm digging too deep, maybe I'm crazy, but maybe she has some self-esteem issues around all of this stuff. And that's why, you know, like you
I
said,
would
she was
bet.
projecting it back.
I bet every dollar I've
Yeah,
ever made
and
in
I
my
think
entire life.
It
that
probably
is the
just
case.
when she had that conversation, or that she overheard the conversation those guys were having.
Yeah.
And seeing those guys again, it triggered something inside of her that she probably just dug away or put away, and boom,
Yeah.
came back with
Yeah.
a flurry of emotions and a flurry of other things.
She just needs, she really needs therapy. She needs help.
But yeah, let's say we close this one out, boys.
Let's finish it
let's
off.
take her home.
Let's take her home.
Hey, all she would have to do was, right after the argument we had, was say any of these things, and I would have stuck it out and tried my best to move forward with her. But between that argument and knowing that she has slept with half the town again in the past 3 months, I just have nothing left for her.
It was fair. Fair enough.
I told her that I was sorry it didn't work out, but we are now officially divorced and she just needs to move on. The waterworks started flowing and I actually believe she was having something mentally wrong with her because she was almost hysterical. I called her dad to come and get her and walked her to his car. I told him what happened and I think he was actually trying to take her to get a mental evaluation at the ER. I harbor no hatred for her. I hope she gets help, but we are over and we both just need to move on.
Yep.
I think
That's
that
it.
final sentence kind of sums up
That's it.
everything.
That final sentence was what happened to me when you were reading the tagline. It was me realizing, oh, wait, I don't actually hate this woman. And she's kind of also a victim of herself.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, just made it. I was like, oh, this is actually way more complicated. I guess I just hope she gets help.
I feel for her, but that doesn't alleviate her of her responsibility.
Correct.
Of how her feelings project on others,
Right.
you know, her past.
Yeah.
All of that.
Also sounds like dad needed to be more on top of the mental health. I don't know.
He's getting involved now.
I don't know.
I'll say at least that.
we
you
don't,
know,
we
at
don't know.
least
We
that.
can't just jump to conclusions because we don't know the extent of like what people knew and
Yeah.
what she told and all that.
Because maybe he was.
Feels like dad knew.
I don't know.
Feels like
man.
dad knew, which is why he called the husband. He's like, please,
Well,
take
this,
her back.
No.
this only spun out
No.
after.
They got divorced.
So maybe if he was like,
But this is not the first spin out.
We don't know that.
You know, she spun out.
He said they were good before in the relationship.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about in the relationship. I'm talking about pre-relationship.
Oh,
Dad probably saw the OG wild times.
could be.
Again,
And
I
dad
think
was
we
like,
don't
no,
know.
we cannot
We
do
do
this
not know.
again.
Yeah.
She's a full-grown adult woman who was married. No. No. Take her back. That's what he said. He's like, no, please, I don't want to have to take care of her anymore. You take care of her. That's
I
what you're
think
for.
it could have gone either way. I don't know if the dad.
That was the vibe to me.
That could have been good. That could have been bad.
Dad was like, she's your problem now. You have to take care of her.
My wife reconnected with her old friends with benefits for crypto lessons. They won't respect my boundaries.
Uh-oh, something's going up, and it ain't Bitcoin.
Oh, to set the scene, my wife, 41 female, and I, 40 male, have been together for 15 years and have a child together, 5 female. Before we met, she was friends with Casey, 44 male, whom she had occasional spicy sleep with. She cheated with him on her last boyfriend before the relationship was over, something she mentioned once and had forgotten that she had mentioned it to me.
Wow.
Okay, I want to know how far in did she mention this to you? And two, why are you still with her?
By the way, this comes from B Stoner, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So the reason she ended their friendship was because the last time they had spicy sleep, he didn't pull out, quote unquote.
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I never heard anything about that.
I know you don't, John. And she had to take plan B. Oh no. She was mad at him for that and decided to cut him out of her life. That was fairly recently before we met. And when she and I started dating, she was still in the process of clarifying to him that she didn't want anything to do with him anymore. What does it mean to be still in the process of clarifying?
Like, what is there to clarify?
Like, again, it was recently before we met that we had the pullout fiasco. And she was basically like, I don't want to see you anymore. You didn't pull out. But like, I guess had to repeatedly say that. So is there like a, not this time, or like, we're not going to go.
I don't know. I don't know what else there is to talk about. What else there is to break down and be communicated and understood.
I have no idea. I just know this is not fertile ground for a relationship to occur. This does not feel like something John and I would till our soil.
We only plant in the most fertilest of
Oh,
soils.
only plant in the fertile grounds. Hopefully not too fertile. We want mildly fertile grounds to plant our seed.
Just enough.
Cue to now. She recently reconnected with him via another friend, and they have been spending an unusual amount of time together. This is pull-out fiasco, man. Her friend pulled her into some sort of crypto and is currently teaching her and a couple of other friends everything about crypto investments. She wants to learn everything about crypto. This feels like a rug pull.
She,
Man is pulling
the
out
old rug
of
pull
all
out.
the things. Yeah, man. He's going to get all of them to invest, and then he's going to pull out this time. The one thing he does pull out of is risky crypto investments.
Golly.
Never in the throes of passion, though.
Learn when to use your poles, brother.
Yeah, man hodls.
he holds
never
on
pulls
for
out.
dear life.
He hodls. Well, a couple of other friends were learning everything about crypto. She wants to learn everything about crypto investing and is attending his boot camp house. But in addition to that, she also hangs out with him, taking walks.
Dude, the
And
last
just
time-
being on the phone with him.
I have read a very similar story to this about a girl that would take walks and be on the phone with someone. Soon she's going to be taking long drives to clear her head.
Well, I made it pretty clear pretty early that I find it a bit weird that going from I don't want to see him anymore and 15 years suddenly spending so much time with him is 0 to 100 rat quick. She doesn't hide him though. She tells me when she hangs out with him or sees him and has so far been open about their interactions. He has 3 kids and is married, but again, cheated before. Might cheat again.
He's been riding him too often.
It came to a head today when she announced she was going to go out with him again after last weekend where she said she'd be going for a walk with him at night for an hour and ended up spending at least 4 hours with him taking a walk and losing track of time.
There's like track of time. You just put one foot in front of the other and then boom. 4
Girl
hours.
was not taking a walk. She was taking a ride.
That's right.
I told her in no unclear terms that she is a grown woman, but that the intensity of their contact is worrying and making me uncomfortable. That is a totally fine thing to say.
Yep.
And that if I felt that this relationship became inappropriate, I would end things with her at the drop of a hat. She knows I have been cheated on in the past and that I have 0 tolerance policy towards cheating and cheaters. I despise it and I've never done it myself. She's upset now. I wonder why. Guilty conscience? She's upset now and currently outside in front of our house talking on the phone. I assume, no way. I assume she's talking to him. No freaking way. I don't know why. He just doesn't understand us.
He just doesn't get the
He
blockchain
just doesn't,
like we do.
yeah. He doesn't know it's the future. Meanwhile, I'm looking after our daughter and her friend, and we have an update 4 hours later. John, what are you thinking?
I think that there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for all of these things.
Yeah, she's riding.
She likes walks. She likes nature. You lose track of time. She's trying to learn her crypto. She's trying to get her
Learn her craft.
bag.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That's all it is.
I do not like the smell of this one bit. So, update 4 hours later. Not sure how I am allowed to participate in this conversation. Such arbitrary rules on this, but we just had another argument before she walked out to meet him. Another argument. She put our daughter to bed, and before she left the house, she wanted to talk. She defended him and their friendship and asked why I didn't have a problem with her other exes. I've met 2 of them, and they're both stand-up guys, and she does hang out with them occasionally, but I'm not worried about them. I told her that this is different, that the context matters, and that I really don't understand why she thinks it's appropriate or even acceptable to meet with a former friends with benefits and spend so much time with them. I brought up that she cheated with him, to which she corrected me that it was someone else who she cheated with on her last boyfriend, some guy with a similar name, whatever, and that they only had spicy sleep in between relationships.
This is not helping your case at all.
Oh, they just had the same name and the same license plate and the same social security number. That's it.
Yeah, no, but they're not the same person. They're like twins. They're like twins.
Yeah, they're twins.
He's his evil twin brother.
Yeah. Just same name.
Yeah, that makes it so much worse. And then she stated that she talked it out, that what happened between them with the unprotected spicy sleep, but that I wasn't willing to hear it because I told her I don't want to hear anything about the guy as I don't like him. So instead of just hearing about all that stuff, she's just going to be spending time with him 24/7. To this, I got pretty angry, asking her if she is really discussing past spicy sleep encounters. She said, yeah, it had to be talked out. We went in a few circles after, but basically it was the same stuff. I don't think it's appropriate. I'm not comfortable with the intensity of their friendship. And that the moment I feel she's not being truthful, I am walking out. Also, I reiterated from my point that she's a grown woman and can do what she wants, but she isn't free of consequences of her actions. In the end, she stood there with tears in her watery eyes and a look of contempt I've seen before when she's about to lose her crap, but kept her cool and said she's going off to see him.
What are you doing? Like, truly, what do you think is causing all of this?
Real talk. If your
to me.
partner is uncomfortable with someone you're hanging out with, I don't think it's always good to like cut them out 100% and be like, no. Like, we're not doing this, because you want to be able to have relationships with all kinds of people and like both men and women. Like, I don't think your partner should ever gatekeep relationships generally, like as a general rule. Also, that's just my relationship style. That's not everyone's. But if your partner ever has something like an issue with someone that you're hanging out with, at least least give it a beat, at least talk it out, at least get to like some kind of, conclusion before seeing this person immediately. Don't see this person right after you have an argument, right? I've seen before when she's about to lose her crap, but she kept her cool and said she's going off to see him. She tried to kiss me and I told her, no, maybe not. She then walked towards the door ranting about me being unreasonable. And then I told her again that she's a grown A woman and that she can do as she pleases, but that she needs to be ready for the consequences of her actions. She slammed the door shut and drove off. She slammed the door and drove off. I guess we'll see what happens when she comes back. There are relevant comments. Question: does the wife of the old friend know about their past friendship? Yeah, they know each other and used to be friendly. His wife used to actually be good friends with my wife apparently, but they lost touch with each other after we moved away for a while, and his wife only married him years after that friends with benefit thing went down, even though she already had a kid from him or something. That's at least what I remember. I don't have any contact with her. It's all a bit convoluted. I am a very different person to my wife. She has tons of friends. I only have a couple. She's very social. I'm not, etc. About the possible cheating, yeah, I'm upset, but I also feel a bit numb about all of this. Just exhausted, I guess. Anyways, we won't be sharing a bed tonight. I'm going to watch a movie and sleep in the guest room. And another commenter says, reading your past posts, you two were on shaky ground when you were dating. Now that this man has re-entered her life, this relationship is over. She was looking for a way out and she found it by cheating on you in front of your face with your approval up until now. I'm sorry, but sometimes your love isn't enough to keep the other person in love with you, and they will do anything they can to end it besides actually telling you they are finished with the relationship. And OP responds, yeah, we've had our ups and downs for sure. Recently, we stabilized for a bit after lots of individual therapy to deal with my anger and resentment towards her, but current events throw a wrench in that. Numbed out is all I feel right now. Curious what my therapist has to say about this, to be honest, seeing her next week again. The therapist, that is. And has OP's wife cheated on him before? No, she has never cheated on me, at least that I know of. This behavior of her is not totally out of the norm for her. Yikes. Meeting friends, even male ones. I think it's fine to have male friends. I think this is a little bit different. And I never had a weird feeling about it. It's almost never new people, but people she's known longer than me. Generally, I'm not a very jealous person. The current issue is on the surface only a little different, obviously. She knows him longer than me, normal, and she meets up with him, usually also normal, and they used to F way back, all right, weird, but she's friends with exes. But the problem I have is she cut him out of her life and now is pulling him back in and went from 0 to 100 in terms of contact within only a couple of weeks. Why don't OP go meet with his wife's old friend and see what the crypto related stuff is about? She has invited me to meet him and to come to his boot camps. I'm just not interested in him and his BS. I think you should go once, just see it.
Just to assess the situation, Hey, maybe you get some gains.
Yeah, dude. Maybe you'll win. We're in a bull market after all.
Yahoo!
Update. After she ran off to meet him at some bar, she came home around midnight. Oh my God. I was still up as I was watching something on TV. I looked over at her and she looked unsure. She sat down at the end of the couch where I was sitting and said she's sorry she got angry. She met up with him and they talked about the situation. Apparently he told her that I am right and that is weird that they're spending so much time with each other. And she called a few friends to talk and get their opinion. They mirrored the same sentiments. Finally, some gosh darn sense in all of this bullcrap.
Hallelujah.
That it's not hard to not think of this as having at least an emotional affair. To be honest, I was still beyond pissed, and to hear that she only came to realize it when other people told her it was inappropriate, not just me, wasn't helping. Because it's like, do you not care about my feelings in this relationship?
100%. She clearly doesn't.
She clearly doesn't, which is like, that's the bigger problem. She explained that she is learning something from him that is giving her a new lease on life. And to her, it's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to finally start contributing financially and acquiring the skills to generate bigger income. He is apparently a quite successful day trader and has been teaching her and a group of other people how to day trade in extreme detail. She insisted she show me what she was doing, so I let her chew my ear off for an hour about day trading, looking at her programs, charts, indicators, ranting about financial markets, etc. She learned trading with leverage and stuff I have no clue about, but it amazes me, at least she these seem to be legit things, that a woman who is too ADHD to read boring government forms and gets overwhelmed with simple adult stuff like communicating with municipalities or banks and hates math and is diving headfirst into something as complex as crypto day trading. Still, she seems surprisingly knowledgeable about all this, and knowing how long it takes her to grasp things she's not interested in, I was impressed. And she was still defiant about the whole spending inappropriate amount of time stuff. I told her she needs to cool it with the contact, but I won't stand in her way, learning something that she feels a major opportunity for her. We agreed on ground rules. No evenings or weekends, no phone calls past 6 p.m., and no one-on-one meetings, only group settings. That feels like good ground rules.
I like it.
She's been stretching these rules every now and then, but largely kept to them. When she needed to bend them, she speaks to me beforehand and gives me ample heads up time, but hides her resentment of having to follow these rules. Still, she seems to want to keep the peace for now and is being proactive. Things have cooled down to a degree where I don't get angry anymore anytime she mentions it. Anyway, other than that, she now thinks she's a pro and a future millionaire. Constantly talks about trading. It's been bumpy for other reasons outside of this weird friendship. Her trading talk is annoying as crap, and I still think she's got a little crush on our big trader hero. I've grown a bit distant in the last couple months because this whole situation emotionally drained me, but we are keeping things going, as you should, by listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update, but let's discuss. So, healthy or not? What do you think, John?
I think Opie said he's like, I've been growing distant from her from like just being emotionally drained from it all. I think you should be like, hey, I've grown distant from it being emotionally drained from it all. And like, honestly, after all this, I kind of just want to spend our time together.
Yeah.
And then see then if she says, yes, they do that, great. If not, maybe this ain't it.
Yeah. I know this is not the dramatic cheating and infidelity story some people were expecting. It's a pretty severe rough patch in an average normal people relationship. She's not cheating on me physically, I think. She might have a crush, which happens in a long-term relationship, and I have other crap to deal with at the moment that I just can't expend the energy to obsess over this every day for hours or fight this into a dramatic my way or the highway conclusion. I don't want to blow our marriage up just to satisfy other people's personal convictions on how a relationship should be like. It's crap now, but it's our crap. My instinct tells me it's a passing fancy, and if things go sideways, I can always walk out. This will be my last and only update. And we've got some questions where OP responds, is OP's wife likely to do some crypto trading? OP says, I understand enough that I know she's only gambling. Yes, I call it gambling, small amounts. She had a 100% hit rate so far and only traded small amounts, $50 here, $100 there. Her strategy is only to trade in a way where the money is so small that her leverage is super high, as in 50 times the amount she puts in, that she will never risk coming near a liquidation price or whatever that means. It seems low risk enough in a high risk environment.
Yep. She's not cheating.
You don't think so?
That's a pretty good strategy.
Riley's been doing some crypto market trading as well, so he knows.
All my meme coins.
Does OP's wife have access to his savings? Nope. No chance in hell. She has no access to savings. Good idea.
Yeah, dude, you good.
And that is where that story ends.
But if you divorce her, you're basically divorcing her because you were scared of her crypto trading tactics.
I don't know, dude. I think sus. I feel like this is not fertile ground for a marriage.
My father's wife is causing drama for my wedding. She gave us the silent treatment.
Ah, yes.
Just need to get this wedding crap off my chest so I can move on and have a fun wedding. I got engaged to my fiance this summer. Congratulations. We haven't set a date yet for the wedding. My dad's wife has already managed to cause so much drama around the wedding, we have barely begun planning. By the way, this comes from Charming State 3014, and if you want to submit your own stories, just go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, my dad has been married to his wife for 15 years, since I was 19. I could write several books about our relationship, but let's just say it's been tough. This woman is extremely manipulative, insecure, and emotionally unstable. Most of all, she is controlling. It is how she soothes her unstable emotions, and it usually involves plowing through other people's personal boundaries like they're made of paper. Then throwing a fit when she feels unappreciated for these efforts. She's easily threatened by other incoming family members, especially other women, and gets especially controlling when food, event planning, and or family gathering is involved. So a wedding is ripe for it. For example, my brother's wedding. My brother has basically zero relationship with her, but she still went behind his back to plan and control as much of his wedding as she could possibly get away with. This is the same woman who believed he, a 16-year-old boy at the time, her, all while she emotionally him and made her life a living hell. Anyway, he's doing very well now. No thanks to her. She has said that she believes his current success is due to her positive parental influence. Effing LOL. And he got married last year. It was a very simple living room wedding with only immediate family, 9 people, invited at his in-laws' house.
Since it was so small, my brother's mother-in-law and the bride mostly planned it. My dad's wife was invited as a courtesy since my brother decided he didn't want to cause drama by not inviting her. This woman was not invited to plan the wedding in any way.
Oh boy.
Had she asked my brother if she could do X or Y thing, she would have said no. But she never asks. She simply takes action and narrates it as being for everyone else's benefit but her own, when it's really all about her obsessive need for control and power. She realized she could simply bypass my brother, who wasn't very involved in the planning, like I said. It was very small. And the bride by bombarding his future mother-in-law via email for months leading up to the event. She is a genius at putting people in a corner where they feel like they can't say no and has a million strategies for doing so. So she ended up, this is a list, trying to take over planning of the rehearsal dinner, which also happened to be my birthday. My brother, the bride, and I had already discussed it, and we planned to get a bunch of takeout and have it at their house. Meanwhile, she had already decided that she and my dad would take everyone out to a nice meal at a restaurant of her own choosing. She was told no, and that the bride and groom had already decided the plan, but she kept trying to make it happen, bringing a bunch of food and appetizers that she wasn't asked to bring. She was told no, but she did it anyway. This especially pissed off mother-in-law because of their previous drama-filled visit to the same home. Mother-in-law, being the hostess, had already planned and shopped for every meal, but my stepmom wouldn't take no for an answer. Lost her mind, took over meal planning, and arrived with a full trunk of groceries and meal plans, which insulted and frustrated my mother-in-law, who she was meeting for the first time. She also tried to drag me into bringing more food too, and I said no, which resulted in her giving me the silent treatment for the whole visit. Wow. She is Christian, and my brother, dad, and fiance and I are Jewish. The wedding fell on Hanukkah, so my brother, dad, and fiance and I all checked in about what we wanted to do and decided that we did not want to try to make a big thing about celebrating Hanukkah at another non-Jewish family's home, especially with all the wedding stuff going on. On the wedding weekend, the bride shows me pages of emails to mother-in-law, bride's mom, from my dad's wife, all about how important Hanukkah is to me and my fiance.
Oh.
She doesn't speak to either of us in real life. She thinks we abuse her because we are very religious. I would never describe myself as even religious, let alone very. But yes, my Jewishness is very meaningful to me. Pages of her condescendingly explaining what Hanukkah is about and listing the many things that she would bring, plan, control for this celebration. At no point were any of the Jewish people consulted about this. Luckily, after all that trouble and planning, she didn't even try to make it happen. Probably because they arrived late and left early, which was a pretty obvious given it was a 9-person wedding. And after the wedding, she threw a fit because my brother and I made her feel invisible at the wedding. So, like I said, we haven't planned basically anything for my own wedding, except that it will be in our hometown and involve our extended families. So, not a tiny one like my brother's. I knew my stepmom was going to cause huge drama over my wedding, but am shocked that she could start before we even set a date. We had a family Zoom call to share our engagement news with my cousins. It was really nice. My dad's wife chose to attend but remained completely silent. Good.
What a shocker.
She spoke not one single word, just glared at the screen for an hour. Why?
Because she's a child, Angie. She's got child brain.
Like, was she so, even children, why would a child be so mad at that? Why would anyone?
Who is married to this creature?
This is crazy.
It's crazy.
After the Zoom call, I assumed everyone else went about their business. Meanwhile, she had a total meltdown. Apparently, some bland comment I made that had nothing to do with her was, in fact, a direct attack on her, and I humiliated her on purpose in front of everyone. I now have my dad calling me up, demanding I be more thoughtful in the future. Shockingly, I was in fact not thinking about cruel ways to humiliate his wife during this once-in-a-lifetime moment, but was actually feeling happy and joyful and focused on my family and engagement. Imagine a world where not everyone thinks about her all the time. Well, she can't, apparently. A week later, my dad calls me up again to tell me in a very serious tone that he understands if she's not invited, they both do. I was like, what the F? Of course she's invited. Don't worry about it. We haven't even made a guest list yet. They've put way more thought into this than me.
Okay, but hello? No, she's not invited. What are you doing?
Yeah, this is just so silly.
You saw what she did. You saw what she did with the other wedding.
Finally, a few weeks after that, he tells me she's already decided that she's not coming. Her reason? She's put a lot of thought into this, and she really thinks this is what's best for you and fiance. So good at fingerprints, which from now on, you are no longer my stepmom. You are my dad's second wife, and I will refer to you as such. Also, thanks for not coming. Now I don't have to worry about you snaking in and making this event about yourself and your sad, effed up control issues.
Preach!
We will still send you an invite in the mail because we control the guest list, not you. And you can RSVP to the website just like everyone else. And anyone who even notices that you're not there will see exactly how much you love, care about, and support me and my fiance, no matter how you spin it. And there is a bit of an edit.
OP, why do you sound so bitter?
I would be bitter.
You'd be bitter? I'd be like, woof, thank goodness. Why would I care if this awful lady cares about me or not? I don't want her in my life.
Edit. Dang, y'all. Thanks for the response. I just wanted to vent while having a boring day at work and sort of thought I was overreacting. Her behavior in my family is so normalized, and also she's been so manipulative for so many years that I second-guessed how awful she is a lot. Thanks to everyone who's written in with helpful and commiserating comments. You are all here for the drama, and I love it so much. I actually forgot to share another juicy drama nugget related to all of this, which may be the worst thing she's actually done. This happened several years ago, well before my now fiance and I had discussed marriage, so he was then just my boyfriend of a year. I was on better terms with Dad's wife back then, though, and had foolishly revealed to her how excited I was about this guy, and that I thought that he was the one. I know now to never share such personal information with her. Another important detail of the story is that my mom, who was as awesome as my dad's current wife is awful, fell into eternal sleep when I was a teenager. I don't talk about my mom with my dad's wife. The one time my mom has come up in the last several years, my dad's wife described how well liked my mom was when she was alive, and in the same breath concluded that it sure makes her feel bad about herself in comparison. Anyway, it was our, I think, second visit to my dad and his wife's home since we'd started dating. Within 10 minutes of walking in, we were sitting around the table, and she pulls out a small white box, slaps it on the center of the table, and while looking at my boyfriend, not me, cries out, "You might need this." Absolutely delighted with herself. In her own handwriting, the box says, "For OP." Inside are my mom's wedding and engagement rings. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So out of line. My dad basically stared at the floor during this entire interaction. I honestly don't remember my response. I was shocked. My boyfriend was immediately pissed, though he didn't show it. It was truly amazing how she managed to disrespect me, my partner, my father, and my mother, who had passed away in one fell swoop. All while thinking of herself as the most thoughtful person in the room. Hats off, really. But we do have an update. But before we get into that, wow.
I mean, that's something that could just, like, was she trying to, she was like, I don't even think did she really think she was being thoughtful? For real?
Well, I don't know. What else would she think?
That she was trying to blow up the relationship because she knew OP was like, I think that he's the one. And then being like, well, she said she thinks you're the one, so I guess it's time for me to give you these engagement rings.
Not sure how this update thing works, but since people were asking, here's the drama so far. 6 months to go to the wedding. A few months ago, I got a card from her in the mail. She wrote, "In 2021, you told your dad you don't want me in your life." Side note, I don't remember saying that, but there's no way to prove or disprove this. I was not offended. I am stepping out of your life to honor and respect you. I tore this card up and threw it in the trash where it belongs. Around the same time, she was suggested to me as a friend on Facebook, and I realized that she had unfriended me. Reminds me of my middle school days having drama with people who were, like her, 13 years old mentally. We sent out the save the dates recently to everyone on the guest list, including her. My dad was thrilled to tell me that this gesture really moved her and proved to her that the explanation she sent me, the one I threw away in the trash, had gotten through to me. He was very excited that I chose to invite her after all. I reminded him that she has always been invited. I decided that myself over a year ago and have never once changed my mind or said otherwise. 3 months later, my dad revealed that actually the way I handled the save the dates was deeply upsetting to them both. What a turnaround!
Yeah.
You see, I emailed them each a digital save the date with a personal note, instead of emailing a single save the date to them both. How dare you, OP,
Yeah,
for doing individual cards?
How dare
See
you?
if you can follow. This showed that I don't respect their marriage. My dad demanded to know what everyone else got to prove that their marriage has been singled out for disrespect. I told him that it was a logistical decision purely based on whose contact information we had. Jesus effing Christ. Well, many of you were right. My dad announced that since I responded so correctly to her actions, she is reassured and is coming to the wedding after all. I was shocked by this because I'm a fool who still doesn't understand her games. Oddly, my stepbrother's wife had emailed me earlier that week saying that they're coming to our wedding. The timing of this is not a coincidence. Regarding, stepmom suddenly decided that she will attend after all. Stepmom is not only highly secretive about her ongoing broken familial relationships, but will intentionally project an image that leads you to believe that she is the loving stepmother of a perfect family full of children who absolutely adore her. I'm sure she realized that if she doesn't show up, many family members, including her son's wife, will realize that there's trouble in paradise and that maybe, just maybe, she isn't the perfect mother that she purports to be. The Batcave has been breached!
Oh, dear Lord!
Just this past week, my dad came to visit us without her, and we had a meal with my fiance's family. Reminder, she has never met a single member of my fiance's family, and she has not spoken to me or my fiance in probably 2 years. Wow. My fiance's very sweet grandma is taking a trip soon to a place my stepmom and dad have been before. My dad must have told my stepmom this over the phone because while I watched, my dad told my fiance's grandma that his wife had heard about her trip and would absolutely love to speak to her on the phone and give her tips and advice. And grandma, knowing nothing about all this drama, since I don't need to waste anybody else's time with it, excitedly agreed. My dad wants to host a pre-wedding rehearsal dinner type thing for my family. We've been planning it together for months. At the time we first started planning, his wife wasn't coming to the wedding at all, so I foolishly failed to set clear boundaries about her involvement in the event. I recently sent out a casual email to the family with a weekend schedule so that they can make travel plans. My dad, inevitably, got angry at me because I didn't include his wife's name as a co-host of said event, even though he has literally never mentioned that she wants or needs to be involved, and obviously, neither has she. He says I need to stop this hurtful cycle of actions and reactions between his wife and me. Because I can't make one single decision about this wedding that won't be interpreted as being at his wife.
Right, which is why you need to just not have her there.
When I spoke to him to understand more about this, he explained that his wife will be by his side during the wedding event, and that's what I failed to understand because I don't respect or understand marriage.
Sir, I'm getting married.
I explained his wife is very welcome to be by his side, and I don't see where I ever implied that she wasn't. She is not welcome to host the event or attach her name to it. Is that something that he wants? He said no. He doesn't need her name on it, but it was just very hurtful that her name wasn't on it.
Pick a lane, doofus.
I pointed out that he is full of contradictions and seems very confused, and that maybe he should sort out his own messy feelings before throwing them at my feet and demanding that I deal with them. I said that I'm sorry that the wedding is clearly such a source of stress for him and his wife, but for me, it is joyful. And I'm pretty effing sick of them dragging me into their stress and pain when they can't find an extra minute to joyfully participate. I ended up sending a long email to him outlining exactly what I expect from him and what I've heard him express he wants regarding said event, so everything is in writing. Good idea. I fully expect that they will both be highly triggered by this event and it will cause no end of drama, but am also fully prepared to pull the hosting duties away from them and take them on myself as soon as they start behaving badly. And he sent me a text apologizing and saying that he deserved everything that I'd said to him. Since that day, not a peep from him. I think he finally gets it. Around the wedding, anyway. I hope I won't have any more updates for you, but unfortunately, I'm sure I will. And guess what? Update number 2. We had an amazing, beautiful wedding day surrounded by people who love us. I could not be more in love with my husband, nor happier to be married to him. The whole weekend was incredible and so special. My stepmom came and gave us both the silent treatment the entire time, even when directly spoken to by us. Even when I introduced her to people, asked her questions, etc. She completely ignored me as if I were invisible. She never once acknowledged that we were getting married. When she entered the small room in which I was standing in the center in my wedding dress and veil, she literally pretended that she couldn't see me and acted incredibly interested in looking at the ceiling and the floor. It was a truly pathetic display, and I honestly felt a bit sorry for her. The only time she spoke to me in a full sentence was to mutter loudly in my vicinity without looking at me to criticize and question our plans and actions. For example, "Oh, you're putting the food on that table?" And during family photos, muttering, "Why isn't this person in this photo? That's pretty weird." Honestly, it doesn't matter to me at all. There were 100 other people there who were showering us with love and support, and she was the only person who wasn't. Much as she would like to believe, it's all mine, my husband's, my family members, or my dad's fault that she was so miserable. I can clearly see that all those people she blames were having a great time and being perfectly nice to her. She was making herself miserable, as always. And by the way, you would make yourself miserable if you weren't tapping into all of our full episodes with more stories just like these on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Search OK Storytime. Best of all, my dad really showed up. He gave a moving speech, brought me a meaningful family heirloom, was invested in meeting my fiance's family members, and was genuinely emotionally present, which has not been the case at most family gatherings where his wife attends. He didn't let his witch wife, yes, I said it, ruin his own daughter's wedding for him. I'm even glad that the drama happened because it taught me a lot about my family dynamics, my dad, my stepmom, and myself.
That's a good perspective to have.
I don't regret any of my actions. I conducted myself with strength, grace, and maturity, and will continue to. Best of all, we're married, and we are a family. And I look forward to continuing to build a beautiful life together. And that is the end. What a great, happy ending.
My wife became neglectful after she became obsessed with Roblox.
You gotta respect the game, dude. It's Roblox.
Hey.
I don't know what you want.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Exactly.
My wife, 37 female, and I, 36 male, have always tried to keep the housework pretty evenly split between us. I, for example, mow the lawn and do laundry and dishes, and she meal plans, cooks, and picks up / drops off the kids. And by the way, this comes from user middle leading 8469. And if you want to submit your stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit and submit them there. Lately, this has all changed because she has become hopelessly obsessed to a game called Dress to Impress on Roblox. If you aren't familiar, it's a game where you have to dress your character in a themed outfit before the time runs out, and then other players rate it from 1 to 5 stars. It started off harmless, just a little fun thing she would do during downtime before bed, but recently she has missed crucial appointments and chores because of this game. I tried to be understanding and gently remind her to do her tasks, but she would always say she forgot and got distracted. The big argument happened last night when she forgot to pick up our 9-year-old son from basketball practice, which ended at 6 p.m. I hadn't gotten home yet as I had to work late, and our son doesn't have a phone, so I had no way of knowing the situation. I eventually got home around 7 and realized he was not in his room. I looked around further and saw that he was nowhere to be found. I walked into our bedroom confused to ask my wife where he was and found her on her iPad playing the game, as always. When I asked her where our son was, her eyes grew wide, and I knew what happened without her having to say. I immediately got back into my car and went to pick him up. Luckily, his coach had stayed after to make sure he was picked up safe, and I apologized profusely. Apparently, he had been calling and texting my wife, who was the emergency contact, and she didn't even notice. When we got home, I immediately blew up at her. How could she be so addicted to a kid's game that she completely forgot our own son? Now she's telling me it was a one-time thing and that I'm an a-hole for getting angry. I don't know what to think. I do kind of understand her side of the story as it has only happened one time, but she has to be a responsible parent. She can't just completely forget about our child who has no way to get home on his own. So, am I the a-hole?
No.
It's like, sure, it's only been one time, but it's like it should be 0 times that you forget your kid exists when he's at basketball practice.
For an hour. Like, it's not the kind of thing where it's just like, oh, sorry, my bad. Like, my bad I didn't pick up my own son who's 9 years old.
Yeah.
Like that's not something that can just be like, hey, you gotta do this. Like, and then she's like, okay, sure. Like, this is like, no, yeah, he's absolutely allowed to be mad about this.
And imagine how your kid feels. Your kid's like, my mom forgot about me.
Right.
There are some relevant comments here. Let's go ahead and get into it. Not the a-hole. This is not a chore that she's blowing off. It's forgetting your own child. How could she not even notice the calls and texts from the coach? That's what I'm wondering about. Is something else going on with her? OP says, I'm not entirely sure how she missed all of the messages and phone calls. We haven't spoken much since the argument. I haven't noticed anything different with her, but I could be missing things. Commenter Sue says, OP, is her iPad hooked up to her iPhone? Because if it is, then your wife willfully ignored the messages and calls. Those things are shown on any Apple device hooked to the same accounts. Also, I would remove your wife from every emergency contact or add yourself with a note requiring they notify you both. OP says, I think the other replies are right. She has her iPad on silent. Still, I feel like she would have seen the notifications. Anyway, I texted the coach to add my number to the emergency contact list, so hopefully nothing like this will happen again. Commenter 3, is this real? She needs therapy if she's so addicted to a silly kids game with avatars that she's forgetting her own real child. This is a scary and serious event for your child. Exactly. And okay, maybe losing track of time, but missing the calls and the texts too, that's insane. Not the a-hole. Hope your kid's okay. He probably felt so scared and abandoned. OP says, thanks for your concern. I'm planning on talking to her tomorrow morning because we'll have had a good day to cool off and think about it. I talked to my son in the car after the original event, and he seemed okay from my perspective. Obviously a little afraid and confused, but nothing that should impact him in the long run. I'll continue to be checking up on him and making sure, though. OP, comment 4, OP, it could be worth getting one of those phones that can only dial certain numbers for your son and change the emergency contacts to yourself and another trustworthy adult within acceptable distance from your area, just till she proves herself and stays off the game. OP says, good idea. Might look into a flip phone or something similar. I just don't want to give him free reign on the internet so young, so this will probably be a good solution. Commenter 5, I'm not the a-hole, but I have questions. Does your wife work? What time does she get home? How does your kid get home when he doesn't have practice? How many kids do you have? Jeez, that's a lot of questions. Who normally makes dinner and when do you all eat? I'm struggling to understand how this happened. OP says she works part-time, usually gets home around 2. We only have one kid. He gets home on the school bus when there's no practice. She, in the past, has been the one in charge of cooking and food, but recently I've started to do this because of the events in the post. We're usually eating around 6:30, and there is an update.
We're going to get back to the story, but Sam, you have a copious amount of something.
What, John?
X's.
I have like 4 or 5 or 6.
I heard of 6 with a 0
All
behind
right,
it.
that 60 number, comes from somewhere else.
Where does that come from?
It comes from our OK Storytime membership.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Join a club almost as exclusive as Sam's X is. Well, let's get back to the story.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for all your advice on my previous post. So I decided to have a conversation with my wife the day after I made the post about the time spent on video games. We talked for a while and I tried to bring up important things people talked about in the comments. I saw a lot of people suggesting that I completely block and delete Roblox from her devices, and I brought that up. Obviously, she didn't take that well. I told her it's completely unacceptable what she has been doing and there needs to be at least a time limit set on her device. I can't control her, but I made it clear it's a very important thing to me and it would damage our relationship if she said no. After I said this, she agreed to the time limits. Another thing I saw a lot in the comments was concern for my wife's mental health. I appreciate people's insight into this because it's something I don't really have a lot of experience in. I asked her if she would consider seeing a therapist, and she said she would think about it. People were also concerned about how my son is feeling after all this. I didn't realize that it was something that may have an impact on him. I had a conversation with him and made sure he understood his mom and I love and care for him. Nothing like this would ever happen again. But if you want to listen to full episodes with stories like this again and again and again, all you have to do is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from and search OK Storytime.
Just if you're listening, just remember to pick up your kids. You could pause us for that. That's okay.
Yeah, you can take us with you. We're mobile. Like
There
you
you
can just
go.
put us in your ears and
So right.
yeah, you don't have to dress to impress us. We take you as you are.
Oh yeah.
And there is a little bit left in the story here, but I think we've kind of already hit everything. Let's go ahead and dive right in.
Let's do it.
I have also ordered him a cheap flip phone so he wouldn't be completely stranded alone if these events did end up repeating. If there's anything I should do or could do differently regarding my son, please let me know because I don't exactly know how to navigate the situation. Really quickly on the cell phone bit, it's like,
Yeah.
I remember I had one like that. Like
Like a flip phone?
it wasn't a flip phone. It's like literally a phone designed like for kids where it's like,
Oh.
you can only call numbers that are saved in the phone book and you can only receive calls from those numbers.
Oh wow.
It was called a Firefly. I
Oh,
don't
that's
know.
Cool.
It was like,
think
it
I've
looked
heard
like
of
a
that.
little like, it was like a little orange like oval phone.
Yeah.
And it was so cool.
Cute.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this thing is so cool.
Dude, I work with like a lot of 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, iPhones all over the
Yeah,
place. It's
that-
wild.
that
It's
is
wild.
I would not, I completely understand
Yeah.
not wanting to give your kid an iPhone,
Yeah.
but
'Cause I get safety, but like
Yeah.
having a phone like that is actually like I don't know why I didn't even think of that, but
Yeah.
that's very smart.
Yeah.
Very different.
there are, and there should, if there were phones like that before, there should still be phones like that now, I'm sure. I don't want to be too harsh on my wife. We love each other, and it's been made more clear after our talk that this should not be marriage ending or cause any lasting damage. And I agree with that.
Mhm.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
To consider ending your marriage over dress to impress is wild.
Right.
It's just a conversation, and it's like, why is our behavior the way it is right now?
Yeah.
Do we see that we need to make changes?
Exactly.
If anyone has any further advice or thoughts, I'll be happy to read it. Thank you. We do have some comments. From my experience, it can be quite hard to quit and behavior like this, so she needs to be really committed and willing to try and fail quite a few times before really getting into a new groove. I personally can't just do something a little bit or have timers. I just have to quit it altogether before the compulsion or obsession disappears. The other things to watch for is switching. So she drops the Roblox but starts playing Candy Crush or drinking, etc. If you're looking for some more information on it, Gabor Mate is a good beginning, and his addiction was classical music rather than substance. Another resource you might like is Johan Hari, Stolen Focus, How Big Tech Deliberately Designed Software Devices to Be Dopamine-Driven and Addictive. If you guys can stick with it and persist in pushing through the other side, what she might experience is a period of boredom, frustration, or irritability, and then gradually start to feel more normal and enjoy life again. Hope you all do well. And there's another comment here, another point. You don't have to be harsh on your wife, but you should be firm. I like the concept of responsible compassion. You love the person, you sit with their feelings, but they're still held accountable for their behavior and choices. When they fail, you're there, but you expect them to try again, and you hold reasonable boundaries. Commenter 3 says, OP, it's really good that you talked and that she seems to have heard you. My question is, does she work outside the home? She does. She has a part-time job. Perhaps having a job would help her not be so obsessed. Even a part-time job that gets her out of the house or around people, maybe that would help a lot. Perhaps being home alone so much made it too easy to get too involved in gaming. As to your son, if she hasn't grasped how serious that was, she really should get some treatment. What she did could have caused long-term trauma to him, abandonment issues, and feelings that his mom doesn't want him around. Not saying he feels this way, but he could. You did great by talking to him and reassuring him, but did she? That is the end of that story there.
Listen, you could be a anything, and phones and games are very highly at risk
Yes.
for that kind of stuff.
Big old dopamine generators right there.
Oh yeah.
But that is the end of that story. We are going to get into the next one.
My wife said another man's name during an intimate time. She reasoned it was only a slip of the tongue.
Her tongue's probably been slipping some other places.
I'm 27 male in a fight with my wife, 27 female, after an incident during intimacy. For context, we're high school sweethearts, married for 6 years. We have a child, 3 male. We've been through a lot together. I love her deeply. And by the way, this comes from you, Throwaway Crimson Make. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to ROK Storytime subreddit. So, our marriage is in a rough patch. Our quality time as a couple is struggling. We're in counseling. We're working on making time for each other and reaffirming our bond. That's our current focus in counseling, and we're assigned intimacy exercises. Part of these exercises is for us to make a consistent, conscious effort for each other. We did a staycation to celebrate our anniversary while our son spent the weekend at his grandparents'. The trip was largely nice, and we got to focus on each other, but it took a turn. The night of our anniversary, we were cuddling, and it turned into more. My wife initiated, she was really getting into it and expressive, and then out of nowhere, she moaned another man's name who's in our friend group.
That's messed up.
My heart would break. We stopped immediately. There was no mistaking what she said. She looked stunned before recovering and treating it like a texting typo or something. When I questioned why'd she say another guy's name, let alone one of our friends, she swore it meant nothing and that she was just consumed with what I was doing to her.
Probably thinking of someone else doing it.
That's not an excuse. I couldn't buy it. I don't believe it meant nothing, not the passionate way she said it. I believe she was fantasizing about him while being with me. She insisted it wasn't like that and was only a slip of the tongue. I asked why his name in particular. First, he didn't know. Then said maybe because she was replying to his text earlier in the group chat. When I pushed back, she got defensive. She said I was making something out of nothing and how it didn't need to ruin our anniversary. I told her nothing she was saying was reaching me and I needed some time. She tried kissing me and initiating again like nothing happened.
Girl, take a break.
The incident put a damper on the rest of the trip. We haven't been intimate since, and any steps we made forward with our exercises have taken a significant leap back. We're in a cycle of awkward silence even in front of our son or ignoring the elephant in the room. She's being extra affectionate now, but I can't shake what happened. I never thought twice about their friendship, but now I'm seeing past interactions differently. I love my wife. She and our son meant the world to me. I've been committed to working on our marriage, but I'm at a loss here. I feel my wife isn't being honest and is attempting to rug sweep by pouring on affection. I'm left reconsidering everything. I don't know how to navigate forward. I need outside perspectives. We got some comments. Bad Guy Busters 2020. Definitely need to save conversations on this for your counseling sessions. I highly recommend using a therapist certified in the Gottman method. Mama to Grace. Okay, if this happened with my partner, the first place my head would go immediately would be he's having an affair. I wouldn't go there. I would go to like they're just like attracted or fantasizing about them. But being on the outside, even though an affair is still on my list of possibilities, I don't think an affair is the only logical answer. My other logical conclusions isn't very pretty either, though. But it's happened that people are fantasizing about someone else. So she may just have the hots for this dude and thinking of him gets her going, and she was so in her own head picturing him that she got lost in her own moment and it slipped out. For me, this option would still be grounds for me to take a step back and question a lot. Even in thinking of my partner fantasizing about a friend while having spicy sleep with me makes me want to throw up. So I 100% can understand why this has messed you up so bad. I don't think any response is going to make you feel better, honestly. Yeah. I think the only response would be an honest response. It would be hard, but I think that would get you past it. It happened, and that's going to be a hard one to forget. Man, I wish I had advice, but knowing it would make how it would make me feel, I got nothing I believe will make this feel any better for you. I would absolutely check your phone records to see if they are communicating more than they should be. That would definitely be my first move. Sheepskin Rugger. Reddit is bananas. There was a post here the other day by a guy who fantasized about another woman while having spicy sleep with his wife, and it was the best spicy sleep they ever had. He was wrecked with guilt and was asking if he should confess. Tons of commenters were saying they've done it, but it's not a big deal. It's just a fantasy. Don't borrow trouble by telling the wife, etc., etc. I'm not saying that to convince you to react one way or another. How you feel is how you feel. But I do say to caution you against taking advice from Reddit, because what you'll get tends to be completely arbitrary, and many commenters are influenced by what they read from others, and it snowballs. You're already in counseling with your wife. Take this there and ignore whatever you read from people who say it's no big deal. I fantasize about someone else every time I have spicy sleep with my partner, lol, lol. Or, man, I can never get past this. She clearly wants that guy, and it's only a matter of time before she cheats. Get out while you're still young. We don't have the answers you need. Talk to your wife and counselor. What every Reddit comment should be, we don't know jack crap. Figure this out on your own, or with a therapist, or through a conversation. But like, navigate it without comments so people have no idea the context of your life in intimate ways. Update. Thanks to everyone who reached out. I, 27 male, couldn't reply to everything, but the outside perspectives helped. The general consensus was that my wife, 27 female, and I's issues should be tackled in therapy. I know that's what I should have done, but I delayed. I was too embarrassed. The thought of bringing up what happened in counseling made it worse, but I knew it needed to be done. My wife didn't initially take kindly to it. She was defensive and accused me of throwing her under the bus.
Who do you think is at fault here?
You should be bringing issues into therapy. That's what it's for. I disagreed. I wouldn't throw her under the bus either. The truth is we never arranged topics in therapy beforehand. We argued over each other. Our therapist came through as a referee to call for a timeout for us to recollect and to reflect on the objective being working towards a solution, not going at each other. We were able to actually talk when things cooled off, and my wife was asked how she would feel if the roles were reversed. That's a great question. I really like that. She admitted if I had said another woman's name while we were having spicy sleep and on our anniversary, she wouldn't have handled it well at all. She apologized for downplaying my feelings. While I appreciated her acknowledgement, I still thought she wasn't honest about why she said that guy's name. So I pressed. She said she didn't want to hurt me more than she already did.
Girl, you gotta do it.
I told her she was hurting me by lying. She confessed that during a stint where we weren't having spicy sleep, she had engaged in fantasies to satisfy herself. One of them was of our friend. I knew the stint she was talking about. Intimacy as a whole has been a struggle, but there was a point where we were abstinent, spicy, sleepy. We weren't even sharing a bed at the time. We'd argue, then leave to separate rooms. Our own son, 3 male, would share the bed with us. I asked how long she's been fantasizing about him. She said on and off. He wasn't a constant fantasy. It wasn't necessarily about him, but more about the taboo. I could totally see the tabooness of it. And I could also see she's not getting specific needs met in the relationship. And maybe she sees those needs being met by traits that that person has.
Maybe in like his own relationship.
Yeah. And so I think this could be a wonderful opportunity to voice that, what your own system is desiring, and see if your own partner can bring that into the relationship so you don't have to like unconsciously look for that elsewhere in a fantasy. She swore that the fantasies meant nothing, that they were just scenarios to get her there and nothing she would ever actually want. It was tough, but I tried hearing her out instead of shutting down. Arguing wasn't getting us anywhere either. I can't relate to her about this. She's always been enough for me during good and bad times. I was always focused on her during intimacy. I told her that while I knew our marriage wasn't perfect, I thought we were getting to a better place and we were engaging in various forms of intimacy again. She claims she doesn't indulge fantasies anymore. I called bull because she did just that on our anniversary of all days. She insisted his name was only a slip of the tongue because she was replying to his text in the group thread that day. She said she was consumed with what I was doing to her, and in the heat of the moment, his name slipped out. I felt like we were going into truth, and now it seems like we're kind of leaving back into lies. When I asked why she didn't tell me all of this after the incident, she said she felt guilty and afraid for our marriage. She said our marriage was already in a state of recovery and she didn't want to blow everything up over a stupid mistake. She kept saying she doesn't want him or anyone else. She only wants to be with me, and that's the only reason why she's fighting for our marriage. The session was a lot. I was mostly quiet after she finished. She asked me to please say something, but all I could say was I needed some time. I'm still sorting through how I feel. I believe she was more truthful, but it's difficult. Nor do I see things between her and our friend the same. I don't know if you could ever.
Yeah, it'd always be kind of suspicious. Just glaring at the friends, and the friend's like, what's up?
I would like to work on my marriage. My wife and our son mean the world to me. I want the best solution for everyone involved. Thank you to everyone. I appreciate the support. We got some more relevant comments. Art needs more floof. I think next thing is you need to do is schedule another therapy session and discuss tools for rebuilding trust. At this point, you bring up your trust was shook because she kept truthing, and how can you know she isn't hiding more from you? That you don't want to distrust her, but you don't know how to rebuild. Allow me to be blunt about some uncomfortable truths. Everyone fantasizes. Let me be blunt. If someone says an absolute truth on the internet, don't believe them. Everyone fantasizes. It is if and how we act on our fantasies, and if we allow our fantasies to impact our real life, that matters. Keep your focus on her behavior, not her fantasies. And on that thing, I'm not saying like, oh, it's bad to, fantasize when you're by yourself, and everyone has different relationships with like fantasy and spicy sleep. But I don't know, the way it shows up for me is like, yeah, do what you want on your own. Like, I don't think if I'm partners with someone that biologically, I'm not going to be the only person they're attracted to, and that makes sense. But if you're with me and you're thinking of someone else while we're having spicy sleep, it feels rude and disrespectful. Keep your focus on her behavior, not her fantasies. Trust is similar to rewitch and Espanoltion in that once it is broken, it is hard to rebuild, but it can be rebuilt. Trust is always a leap of faith. It is built on little acts of consistent, reliable behavior, but at its heart, it is a leap of faith. The little voices in your head, OP, the ones going, But what if she is secretly in love with my friend? But what if she thinks he is sexier than me, etc.? Yes, those voices, nothing your wife can say or do will be able to silence those voices. That is a battle for you and you alone. You need to figure out how to self-soothe those voices. Rick Russell TX. Well, that's the problem with trickle truthing. There's no way to know when she stops trickling and when she's telling the truth. Once you start lying, people don't know when you're truthing.
The little boy who cried wolf situation.
Yeah, I said it earlier, but I think this can be an opportunity to see like what of her needs are being met and what she's, unconsciously going into her head to try to meet and to get that outside of your relationship. And maybe it's possible to use this as an opportunity to bring just a wonderful, honest conversation around what both of you need.
Very, very true. I gave gifts to my boyfriend's kids. His ex-wife didn't take it lightly.
No gifts. No.
Throwaway account, apologies for the length, but this is really troubling me. Names have been changed. I, 39 female, have been in a relationship with my boyfriend, Brian, 42 male, for a year or so. We're in love and are talking about moving in together when my lease expires in 6 months. By the way, this comes from TACSMTB, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. From the beginning, I knew he was divorced for 5 years and had 2 school-aged kids named Alex, 10 female, and Dan, 8 male. When things started getting serious between us, Brian told me the reason he and his ex, Alyssa, divorced was because Brian had an affair with a coworker. Alyssa found out and filed for a divorce. Brian told me that he regrets cheating on Alyssa and that he set a terrible example for Alex and Dan. He wouldn't blame me if I considered it a deal breaker. Despite my issues with cheating, my mom left my dad for another man when I was his kid's age. I believe that people can change, and I believed Brian was remorseful. Maybe that's naive of me, I don't know. I thanked him for telling me and told him that I accepted him in spite of his past. Alyssa has primary custody, but Brian has them during the weekends and some holidays. Because we were talking about moving in together, Brian proposed that I meet Alex and Dan at dinner. I agreed and asked him to tell Alyssa, figuring she'd want to know. I sure would myself if I was in her shoes. We met at a restaurant shortly before Christmas and everything went great. The kids and I were understandably nervous at first, but by the time dessert rolled around, we were laughing and I thought having a good time. Alex and Dan are great kids, and I said as much to Brian as we were leaving. Last Friday, Brian had Alex and Dan, and we decided to go to the mall together. Alex wanted to go to Ulta, and I went with her while Brian and Dan went to the Apple store. She fell in love with a small bottle of purple nail polish, and I decided to purchase it for her. To be fair to Dan, I purchased an iTunes gift card of the same amount so he can listen to music on his iPad. I told the kids it was a late Christmas present from me. The kids were very grateful and even made me a thank you card. I was moved and thanked them. This all seems perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Across the board.
Super normal.
Yeah, totally fine.
No problems. Right.
Now, I had never met Alyssa before any of this. I made it clear to Brian that if she wants to meet me or not, it is her choice and hers alone, and whatever it is, I would respect it. Last night, I got a call from Alyssa. I wasn't surprised she had my number because I figured the kids or Brian must have given it to her. She asked me why I bought the kids Christmas presents. I explained the situation. She told me that she didn't want me hanging around Alex or Dan before hanging up. I don't know what to do. Brian is at work and won't be off until tonight, so I have some time to come up with a plan. As much as I love Brian, I don't want to come between him and his kids. He made a terrible decision, yes, but I know he loves Alex and Dan and has been doing his best to make it up to them. I don't know if Alyssa thinks I'm the woman Brian cheated with or what. She might. That's a good point. She might be like, this is your fault.
Yeah.
If we're going to be living together in the future, the kids are going to be a part of my life, and I want to be part of their lives if they want me to be. As I said, they're great kids. I can't take the place of their mother, and I don't want to. I want us to have a good relationship with each other. So what do I do? Did I do the wrong thing by buying them nail polish and a gift card? And there are some comments, but I want to hear your comments first.
I think no.
I don't think so.
Not
I don't
at
think
all.
you did anything wrong.
It's such a little gift.
Such a tiny little gift.
Yeah.
Nail polish, I mean, unless you like splurged and got really expensive nail polish. It's
Right.
Like under $10.
Yeah, and they're kids.
They're kids.
Leave them alone. It's fine. You want to deprive your children of nail polish and iTunes music?
That's your prerogative.
What kind of monster are you?
But there are some comments. Tell Brian what happened. Let him deal with it. Don't answer the phone for his co-parent again. Next time one of the kids asks for something that would be an escalation in your relationship with them, like gift buying, get ready to say, let's check with your dad first. and slow your roll on moving in. 6 months after meeting his kids is too fast to be moving here. OP says, we're talking about it. It's not for sure yet and probably won't be for a while. It's all going to depend on a bunch of factors. Comment 2, what did Alyssa say when you asked her why it bothered her so much? OP says, I didn't get a chance to ask her before she hung up and she hasn't responded to my texts asking why it did bother her. Comment 3, tell him everything and let him deal with it. The ex is still pissed, and she should be, but her anger shouldn't be directed towards you. OP says, no, she really shouldn't still be pissed. It's been 5 years, and her being pissed still will only hurt the kids. I know Reddit doesn't like to hear it and thinks that cheaters should literally be unalived, but real life has more nuance. And there is an update. I do think 5 years is a long time to like I think there should be more willingness to co-parent now by 5 years. Like you don't have to like your cheater ex-husband who sucks,
Sure.
but I think that there does have to be of co-parenting, like or ability to co-parent.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also interesting because I feel like in a lot of situations there's a divorce, there's like a big conversation on like when a new partner should meet the kids.
Yes.
But it sounds
Do they
like
have that?
Yeah, and it sounds like this is already, OP is obviously just hanging out with the kids.
Yeah.
This doesn't sound like it's the first time. So it's like, why would it be an issue that there's like
Yeah.
other
And they
things
also
involved?
had that conversation. Like OP was like, Alyssa, know that
Yeah.
you want me to hang out with the kids.
Yeah.
And so that was already established. That it seems like they already had the get,
Right.
go ahead on that.
Right.
But it was just the buying gifts that was the problem.
Yeah, I'm guessing that there's also just a miscommunication with the kids too, because the kids are probably thinking a little bit of like, oh yeah, like she's awesome, she bought us Christmas gifts, and then
So cool.
right,
Yeah.
and then like maybe
She's jealous, maybe.
yeah, she's maybe thinking that crosses some sort of boundary and some sort of like intimacy thing, because that is kind of a thing where it's like if you're close with someone, you get them a gift.
Yeah.
You don't always do that. You don't always have to be that close with them, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's probably thinking that it's a bit like more intimate than it actually.
Probably. Hey everyone, I just want to thank you guys for your input and suggestions on how to handle the situation with Brian and Alyssa. I read the comments and gained valuable insight on the matter. I also got answers to questions you all had. When Brian got home the evening I made that post, I told him about Alyssa calling me. He apologized and talked to her about it. We also talked about postponing the move until the kids are comfortable enough, but we won't make a decision for a few more months. Part of the reason Brian waited so long to introduce Alex and Dan to me was because his last girlfriend, not the affair partner, and the kids did not get along. So he wanted to make sure the kids were completely okay with meeting me, which is why I didn't meet them until a year into our relationship, which I think it seems like they're doing it pretty well.
Yeah.
They're going like slowly. They're, making sure that everyone's okay with it. Also, him telling me about the affair happened maybe 4 or 5 months into our relationship, so I've known about it for a while. He's been completely transparent with me, giving me his passcodes and passwords so I can check his texts, emails, social media if I get suspicious. The kids primarily live with Alyssa, but spend weekends / some holidays with Brian, but it's 50-50 joint custody. I apologize for any confusion my post may have caused. Alyssa called me the next day and apologized to me for telling me to stay away from Alex and Dan. She told me that due to her work schedule, she and Alex hadn't been spending a lot of time together. Only thing they liked to do together was do each other's hair, makeup, nails, etc. Alyssa told me she felt threatened about losing time with Alex when she saw the bottle of nail polish. She also got the number from Alex's phone the day we went to the mall. Brian and I had Alex and Dan put it in their phones in case we got separated, and they weren't able to get a hold of either Brian or Alyssa. That way they have a safe adult. Alyssa was really apologetic, and I believe her. Whoa!
Wow.
Okay, communication.
There we go.
Slay. I forgave her and told her that I wasn't upset. I also reassured her that if she has any questions or concerns, she can always talk to me. We aren't friends by any stretch of the imagination, but I can see us developing a partnership. This is great. I love that they figured it out. They worked as adults and they did what's best for the kids.
I agree. Amazing.
On Friday, Alyssa proposed that the 5 of us, Brian, Alyssa, the kids, and me, could all meet at a neutral location and talk to Alex and Dan about any questions they may have. Brian and I agreed, and we got together yesterday. It actually went really well. We reassured the kids who knew about Brian and I talking about us moving in together that we weren't going to make any major decisions for a long time and that we would take their concerns and opinions into account when the time came. I also told the kids that I was always going to be honest with them if they had a question that I didn't have an answer to or felt it was a conversation that their parents should have with them, then I would tell them so. By the way, I'm telling you guys that you can go listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime. And there's a little bit left to the story. But do you have any final thoughts?
I just think this is going well.
I think it's going really well.
It's rare that we see proper communication
Truly.
in these Reddit stories.
But here it is.
Here it is. It exists, everyone. It's possible. So do it.
If you can put your mind to it, you can do it.
Yeah.
They put their mind to it.
Yep, exactly.
I assured them that I wasn't going to take Alyssa's place in their hearts as their mom and that she is a wonderful mom who loves them very much, but I would like to get to know them better. We answered their questions and everyone's suggestions. I think we're all going to be okay. And that is the end of the story. I think you guys are going to be okay too.
I agree.
I think it's all going to work out.
I agree. See, it was just miscommunication.
Yeah.
And then they communicated and
then it fixed all of the problems in the world.
Funny how that works.
I kept my friend's marital status a secret. It made my wife furious.
Secrets are no fun unless you share them with everyone.
I, 35 male, grew up with 3 other friends. The 4 of us were only children and lived in nearby houses, which allowed us to spend a lot of time together. So we practically grew up as brothers, and I consider them as such. By the way, this comes from user SilentAnywhere1080, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. One in particular, Jake, 36 male, has always been lucky with ladies. You could say he's a very good-looking guy and has an established career. An excellent catch, I suppose. About 8 years ago, I moved in with my then girlfriend, 35 female, and Jake and the rest of my broskies visited us often. One afternoon, my girlfriend's sister, 33 female, came to visit while Jake was at our house, and they met. My sister-in-law developed a crush on him immediately. When my girlfriend told me about it, I felt compelled to warn her she shouldn't get too close to him if she intended to have a long-term relationship. You see, Jake was mostly into one-night stands at the time and didn't believe in commitment. He was not the type to just use women for pleasure like a predator or anything, but I had heard him tell a couple of them several times in a very cold way not to get their hopes up. He broke many hearts.
Dang, man, you're friends with a heartbreaker.
Despite my warnings, she didn't listen and for 2 years made it her personal mission to seduce him. He was initially friendly and even flirty with her, but quickly turned into ignoring her when I told him I would be pissed if he messed up things enough to affect my own relationship. She never found out what I said, and nothing else happened between them until my wedding day.
Pause real quick. That is kind of annoying, though.
Yeah, what to
you
be
know, if
like?
I were the sister-in-law and I'm like, and OP's like, hey, he's not looking for a relationship. And she's like, for sure. Flirting with him. He's flirting back with her. OP steps in and's like, don't do it.
Yeah, it goes to
That's
Jake. He's
annoying.
like, don't, because you're going to mess up my relationship.
Yeah,
with
I'd be
her
like, if I were the
sister.
sister-in-law, I'd be like, dude, step off. I'm a big girl.
Yeah. Jake and some other friends drank too much, and at some point, Jake ended up in bed with sister-in-law. He called me a few days later to apologize for any trouble he may have caused. I was confused and didn't know what he was talking about, but he then told me he drank too much that night, and all he could remember was waking up in sister-in-law's apartment the next morning, clothesless and with a massive hangover to her making him breakfast. All he could manage to do at that point was take his clothes and get the heck out of there. Sister-in-law didn't like that at all, and although he apologized to her later via text in the most polite way possible, he made it clear that what had happened was a mistake and he wasn't interested in pursuing anything romantic with her because any issues between them could create conflicts between my wife and me in the long run. She was still furious. I had the opportunity to read their conversation, and I can say he wasn't hurtful or cruel to her. He apologized several times and repeated that it was all his fault for not preventing things from going that far. But I could understand that running out of a girl's apartment and telling her that you basically don't want to have anything to do with her after getting intimate was a bad move. I was quite angry with him at first. He shouldn't have been drinking to the point of being unaware of his actions, but I didn't think that was too big of a deal in the end. After all, I had warned sister-in-law that this would happen. Like an hour after I had spoken to Jake, sister-in-law called my wife, crying, saying he had used her and was now throwing her away. I don't have all the details of their conversation, but my wife was furious. She was comforting her sister by calling Jake all kinds of things. Meanwhile, I just resigned myself to wait for everything to resolve by itself. In the end, sister-in-law convinced my wife to ask me to cut off all contact with Jake and thus prevent the two of them from crossing paths again. Of course, I didn't agree.
Ooh, tricky.
Which
tricky.
I agree. You don't
Jake-
cut off a day one
No.
friend just because someone's like, I just can't see them.
Yeah, but I would be really pissed at my this Jake's an F boy, and he needs to kind of sort out his stuff. I'm not saying cut him off or anything. They're day one friends, but I'd be like, dude, what are you doing?
Proposal though.
I told you. Even though I'm like, I don't know if he should have said anything in the first place. He said, don't mess with sister-in-law. And then he did anyway. And then he hurt her. It's
only
messy.
was he told that, but sister-in-law was informed like, hey,
Yeah.
mess around with this guy.
Gonna get hurt.
It's not going to end well, dude. It's just
Yeah.
not. It's not what you want. And she was like, I'm not going to listen to that. That would not only be a punishment for him, but also for me. He was like a brother to me, and I didn't think it was fair for him to bear all of the blame. Not to mention, I would have to lose one of my best friends. The best I could offer was to stop inviting him over to our house and to not mention him in front of my wife or sister-in-law. My wife reluctantly agreed, and for several years, I only got to see my friend a couple of times every other month, and even less when my son was born. I started working from home to take care of the baby, and so my wife wouldn't have to bear the entire burden, WOP. A couple of years later, when she became pregnant with my daughter and had to remain on bed rest until birth due to some health issues, communication between Jake and I switched to strictly by phone. 2 weeks ago, I finally felt enough time had passed since the incident, which was 6 years ago, and it wouldn't be a problem inviting him over again. I told my wife I wanted to hold a get-together at our house and invite my brothers and their families over, including Jake. She thought it was an excellent idea. Most of them had children almost the same age as ours, and it could result in a very fun evening. We all got prepared, and the day arrived, and finally, after years, I was able to get together with all my best friends like old times. The children were playing together in the backyard, while my bros, their partners, and I were enjoying the barbecue. Everything was going well until I heard my wife's mischievous laugh behind me. She had left the house shortly after Jake's arrival. She was looking towards the entrance, and sister-in-law was coming in, wearing a very tight and revealing dress, and was walking towards us in a triumphant parade while looking subtly towards Jake's direction with a cocky smirk.
Dude, that's kind of embarrassing.
It's been 6 years.
It's been 6 years. And you hooked up once.
She sat next to my wife and didn't say anything at first, so we just continued chatting. But then, as we were talking about how much our lives have changed after marriage, she started throwing comments about how stupid men can be, letting escape the opportunity to have a good woman by their side just because they are afraid of commitment, not realizing how lucky they may have been until it's too late, all while posing like she was the ultimate prize. So I guess both sister-in-law and my wife were too busy with their show to notice the rest of us exchanging uncomfortable looks, and even worse, sitting next to Jake was his very pregnant wife.
Dang, he settled down.
To whom he has been married for almost 4 years.
That's really embarrassing. To wait to be thinking about this for 6 years. This is not like they dated for a year and he was like, I can't commit. This is like one night.
Yeah.
That he doesn't remember.
Yeah, not even a night to remember, a night to not remember.
A night to not remember.
I cleared my throat trying to get my wife's attention and whispered into her ear who the woman whose presence she seemed unaware of was. My wife turned red like a tomato and ran into the house in horror, dragging her confused sister by the arm. They did not return to the gathering, and I decided to end it shortly after. When everyone had left and I put the kids to bed, I went to talk to my wife and sister-in-law. They were in the master bedroom, both crying in embarrassment. They, as in both of them, had planned a show to annoy Jake, believing he was still the same womanizing clown. They wanted him to feel regret for rejecting sister-in-law. I don't understand what they thought they would accomplish. Even if he were still single, after 6 years, the chances of him feeling something for her or even caring of her existence were far from certain. I told them that, and they exploded in anger, blaming me for their humiliation. They believed it was my fault for not informing them that he was now married. You guys have
asked
literally
not to be told about Jake. These women are embarrassing. These women are embarrassing.
Jake's engagement and wedding happened during my daughter's risky pregnancy when my wife and I were too focused on trying not to lose our baby, so I couldn't attend any of the events, and I guess with everything going on, I never got to tell my wife anything about my best friend's romantic life, not to mention the fact they literally explicitly told you to stop talking about him.
You know anything. And also, you had a baby? You had a baby and your wife is acting like this still?
2 babies, actually. I
Yeah.
think.
2
Yeah.
babies, and she's like still focusing on this 6-year.
Yeah, it's
Oh, my
sister-in-law, wife and sister-in-law are like the toxic duo. My wife and I were the only ones at the barbecue, and sister-in-law, obviously, who had not attended Jake's wedding. So sister-in-law's behavior looked odd and overall ridiculous. Now I'm being accused of causing their public shame by not telling them about Jake's personal life. Honestly, I have no idea how almost 4 years passed without the topic coming up in any conversation between my wife and I. I think I just got used to us not talking about him after the incident. Even stranger is the fact that none of my other friends or their wives, who are close to mine, ever mentioned it either. I think we just kept it a secret unintentionally. But we need to talk about the fact that you can listen to full episodes with stories like this one on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search OK Storytime. And we have 1,250 plus hours of stories for you to listen to at your own, at your discretion. Anyway, we do have a little bit more story left. Sophia, do you have anything to add here? Or
Lordy,
any closing thoughts?
I would just be rethinking my relationship a lot if I were OP, which is concerning. I mean, like, obviously this is not like divorce territory or anything. They have 2 kids.
But it's
But it
definitely
is
like, why do you get this way
whoa.
with your? It seems like it's like the sister. It's like,
Yeah, I'd be like, you need to like rethink reassess your relationship with your sister, because clearly you guys are very obsessive when you get together, and you need to, like, your sister cannot be obsessing over this relationship that happened.
it's like
Not
why
in a
are-
relationship. This one night thing that happened 6 years ago.
Why are
It
you
is.
enabling your sister's? That's
like,
what I'd
help
be like.
her
Why do
move
you feel
on.
like it's cool to enable her behavior in this way? Because
Yeah.
that's not positive.
Wouldn't
behavior.
you rather she find a nice man?
Let's finish it off. So, anyways, it's been 2 weeks and my wife is still angry. So, am I the a-hole? And there is some postscript here. Jake and his wife welcomed a pair of twins yesterday.
Aww.
May they be blessed. Edit. Those are our current, because we're all in our mid-30s, and I can understand why she, Jake's wife, didn't notice her when they entered the house. Jake and his wife were the last to arrive, and the barbecue had been going on for a while. My wife was in the kitchen when I rushed over to greet them, and as soon as she heard Jake's voice, she said she'd forgotten something and left. By this time, they were out in the backyard greeting everyone else. Our back door is in the living room, so my wife didn't run into them when she left, but that doesn't explain how she didn't notice Jake's wife when she came back. The woman was sitting right next to him. It was truly a WTF moment, and that is the end of that story.
Man, oh man.
She's still mad at you after 2 weeks?
Man, oh man. I mean, she's still obsessed with like after 6 years. So these women know how to hold grudges. That's what I'm learning.
Yeah, it's like it just runs in the family.
Grudge.
Yeah, I would just, like, if she's still mad, it's like, all right, let's break this down. I did this to you. Right. So for 6 years, I forced your sister to be obsessed with this guy that I told her not to get involved with because it would get her feelings hurt. And then I forced you to also, I forced us to not talk about Jake, which is what you said you wanted. You said no more talking. No talking about Jake. So I did that. And now somehow it's my fault that y'all didn't know Jake's wife was there. And you did this you embarrassed yourself. Crying in the bedroom?
Is wild.
is-
Both. The thing is,
In
it's
your
not-
30s.
like it would already be like insane that the sister-in-law is crying, but like the wife is crying.
Like, oh my God, I can't believe my husband embarrassed us like this.
No.
crazy.
Yeah,
It's
y'all
crazy.
need to grow up.
I'm on now.
My father and his wife disrespected me in my own home, so I just let them leave.
Not in your own home.
I, 29 female, decided to live alone 10 years ago. My parents divorced when I was 12, and after a traumatizing childhood and teenage years, including spicy-related abuse, not in my household, emotional and verbal abuse, I felt ready to live alone when I was 19. By the way, this comes from Juanita Mlando. But if you want to submit your own stories, just go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I met a guy in college when I was 18, and he decided to take the step with me. We rented an apartment together. Needless to say, that didn't work out, as he was also verbally and economically abusing me. We separated 2 years after we rented the apartment. When I broke up with him, I became very depressed. After going to psychiatry and being hospitalized in a psychiatric ward, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which helped me understand my exaggerated reactions whenever I had to face conflict. After telling the whole story, I think that this introduction will help you understand what I'm thinking. The whole trauma might be posted in a different post. Fast forward to 2.5 years ago. I started to be very successful in my job. I graduated from college after facing many issues due to my mental health and got a management position in the customer service industry, which is very hard in the country I live in. I met a guy in October 2022 who we'll call Nick, 35 male at the time, and I fell in love with him. We weren't a match, but we built a strong friendship. What I didn't know was that he would be helping me to build a backbone, something I didn't have, even when I decided to live by myself. Since I met Nick, I discovered how my oldest and dearest friends were stabbing me behind my back, how a friendship should work, and how people were stepping on my back to get money, favors, or a place to crash.
Good on Nick for showing you the true meaning of friendship.
Yeah. I realized how traumatized I am from my issues when I was younger and how my parents gaslit me my whole life to make me feel guilty about their mistakes. At the beginning of this year, I decided that enough was enough. I changed my apartment about 3 weeks ago, changed my phone number, and got rid of all the people who hurt me throughout my life, including my ex, the guy who lived with me, who stole $17,000 from me during our relationship and the friendship that came after the breakup. Nick was always there to support me. FYI, $17,000 is a lot of money in my country.
It's a lot of money in my country. I think it's a lot of money in most countries, unless maybe you're going by like pesos.
Enough to buy a whole apartment. Last week, my father, 60 male, and his wife, 59 female, told me that they would be coming to my place from a different city as they needed to run errands since they moved a few years ago to live in the countryside. As I recently moved from a 1-bedroom apartment to a 2-bedroom apartment, and I don't have enough furniture, I asked them to bring an inflatable mattress with them so that we could all sleep comfortably. I wanted them to sleep in the 2nd bedroom so my kitten wouldn't bother them in the middle of the night. They weren't willing to bring the mattress, and as soon as they arrived, they criticized my house, how my furniture was placed, how I didn't have enough cutlery or seats, how I placed the fridge, everything. I got mad. And for the first time in my life, I told them that it was my place and that they couldn't criticize how I live. I said that they were welcome here, but I didn't want them to move my things around as they wanted because it was my place. My father started to yell very loudly at me, telling me that I wasn't making him feel welcome in my place. And I yelled back at him that he shouldn't disrespect my house, let alone me at my own place. He yelled even louder, saying that he was my father and that he could do whatever he wanted in my house because he was my father. I said no, and he yelled that he would leave. Due to my mental issues, I have very strong panic attacks, and I had one at that very moment. I ran to my room and started breathing while he was still screaming from the living room. Ugh. I told him that when I go to his place, I don't move or criticize his house. After a huge argument, they left to eat lunch. When they came back, I had already controlled my panic attack, and after a couple of hours, I felt the urge to hug my father, which I did. Of course, they stayed on my sofa bed. Throughout the whole week, they kept criticizing everything and buying cutlery and the things they considered I needed. I told them that I understood they wanted to see me living in a great place, but my priorities were not to buy kitchen stuff I didn't need when I live alone. I wanted to buy a new computer as I work from home, and my computer is breaking. I also wanted to clean the whole house, which was very dirty when I received it, take care of the garden, put a safety net so my cat doesn't escape when he grows, neuter him, he's a kitten but big enough now to go through the procedure, and purchase a new bed as my bed is old and my mattress is also getting damaged. All of that comes before thinking about decoration for a big apartment. A friend of mine came 3 days ago and they continues to criticize my house in front of her. I told them to stop and they still went on. After my friend left, I was feeling tired and went to bed, said goodbye, and tried to sleep without being able to. I was listening to a podcast with my headphones on. After I felt ready to sleep, I removed my headphones, turned around, and then I heard her. They were having spicy sleep on my sofa.
No, that's not my bed.
I'm usually open-minded, but I didn't expect my father to have spicy sleep with his wife in my house with me in it. Don't get me wrong, I don't care if they have spicy sleep.
I do. They shouldn't be having it.
It's their life as a couple, but not in my house. Why in my house? When I told them to respect my place a million times, I didn't think to expressly tell them not to have spicy sleep in someone else's house because I thought that they would respect someone else's temple.
That's an insane thing to do.
It really is. It was disgusting hearing them and what they said when they finished. I learned that the bed sheets I borrowed them got dirty. My sofa got dirty. And the thought of me cleaning that was terrible to me. The next day, my father left early and I told his wife that I heard them. She was shocked and minutes later, she told me that it was normal. I know it is. And that they thought I was asleep. She thought I was cool with that because I had told her how my friends who are attracted to the same gender once went to my previous apartment. And while they were wasted, I noticed that they were feeling a little spicy. I told her that I was clear with them that my house wasn't for people to come and have spicy sleep, but I didn't think to have that conversation with my father and his wife.
So funny that it seems like OP was telling her a story about how her friends crossed her boundaries.
Yeah.
She was like, yeah, my friends once like came over and we're all frisky and stuff. And I was like,
Yeah.
hey, stop it. And then her, I guess, stepmom or something.
I guess so,
Seems
yeah.
like stepmom was like, oh, yeah, so I took that to mean that we could also do that.
I decided to stop talking to them until they leave and go back to their town. Nick has been very supportive, and he's the only one I rely on right now. I didn't want to have a confrontation, but I'm usually very open and talkative, so today they confronted me. My father started speaking, telling them that they didn't disrespect me in any way, neither by telling me what they thought about my house, nor by having spicy sleep on my couch. That I was being disrespectful for the attitude I had with them the last couple days, that I wasn't making him feel welcome. He said that numerous times since this morning. At night, when he said that for the 20th time, I exploded. I told him that I felt disrespected and uncomfortable with what happened since they arrived. He didn't let me speak. And then his wife came into the room and started arguing with me, saying that she was a grown woman and that she was feeling like the adult was mad at a 15-year-old for sneaking with her boyfriend. I told her that it wasn't the case, that I like that they have their active relationship.
Don't
as
say
they
you
love
like
each
it.
other.
Don't say you like it. Stop.
But that they disrespected me. They said that having spicy sleep wasn't disrespectful, that I came from the same action, and that it was me who was exaggerating, and that feeling disrespected was out of line. So your feelings are out of line. Make that make sense. I don't understand. They said that I was open-minded because I accept attracted to the same gender people, but not enough to accept love between them when they love each other.
They're like, you like gay people, so why can't we have spicy sleep in your house?
Yeah.
Those are the same things.
Right. I mean, imagine if that just goes further. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll have spicy sleep right in front of you.
Yeah.
It's because you know that we love each other and you accept that. It's
They're like,
no.
They're like, queerness equals exhibitionism.
Yeah. But that's not what I meant. That's not the case. I told them that I support them having a relationship and that I want them to live and pass away together, but please stop crossing my boundaries. That's all it is boundaries.
Just boundaries.
Come on. They said that this wasn't a fair boundary and that it was me being a brat.
Dude, you need to go to their house and have really loud spicy sleep.
Banging on the
Malicious
walls.
compliance.
Honestly, you don't even need to do it. You just make the noises.
Yeah. You
Shake the bed a little
you
bit.
easy A it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
After another huge argument, they said that they would leave tomorrow and sleep at another family's house. But you know what else is ideal? Is you going to your favorite podcast app, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and search up OK Storytime to find more episodes with full stories just like this one. There is a little bit more. My father said that he would stop supporting me and not to count on him if I'm still thinking that they are in the wrong. I told him that I needed everything to calm down so that we could speak. He said no, and his wife cried that I'm being unfair. I'm not punting them out of the house. I was clear with them. But if they decide to leave, I'm not stopping them and letting them go. My father said that I'm ruining our relationship. I said I'm not, but he's doing it. So am I wrong? Am I the a-hole?
No, your parents are
No.
gaslighting you into thinking that, everything is your fault.
Yeah.
And every time you put up a boundary, it's actually you hitting them with an axe.
Exactly.
And that's not true.
Exactly. This is like classic signs of abuse that we know that she's had a history with these people. Yeah, if you can support yourself without them,
Which
then
it seems like you can.
yeah, right? Like I
Yeah.
don't know what exactly he was referring to, but I mean maybe there's little things that we
Yeah.
didn't hear about, but yeah, no, definitely not the a-hole at all.
No.
At all.
But that's the end of that story and the end of this episode.
What?
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.